Bitches ain't shit and they ain't saying nothing. 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 Man.
Yo, it's good. All right, niggas and bitches, bitches and niggas. You know what time it is. Once again, we are in the building. Eloquently petty, articulate assholery. Smoke, killing me. Uppity Negro swag. My name is Marcus Aurelius. This is the Keep It 100 channel. Look at shit, we skinny trolls in here. Alright, ain't no troll. It's good. Adric, Hall of Fame. Hold Up 24. Ron Matthews, AZ Tech. Alexander Kelly, Guyagami. Aaron P. What's good, Aaron P? All right, my man Henny King is in the building. All right, what's going on, man? We doing it again. All right, I know a lot of y'all was on that Tito stream. Tito was talking that shit. Talking to Tito earlier, and you know, he knew this one was coming. You know. Shout out to Conservative who did a stream about the last stream we did. The last stream was what was it? Coon is the new black. Coon is the new black. Yes, sir. Coon is the new black. We got a lot of if you know, it's funny when it wasn't like cool to be like a black conservative. That shit is like in style right now. You know, it is in style to be like out and out with your black conservatism. Look, I want to be up front. I want to be straight up. There is nothing wrong with having conservative views. To be honest, a lot of the things that we say in the space is conservative. We say a lot of conservative shit here. You know what I'm saying? So there is nothing wrong with conservatism. A healthy amount of conservatism. Right? But you know, you don't, it's like the black, like I said on the last stream, I want to clear something up. On the last stream where I had Hood and, you know, a few others, I made a statement related to conservatism. I think it was said by Nameless Protagonist. He said, there are black conservatives, and then there are conservatives who happen to be black. And what I said was, I said that, black conservatives, are the ones who make it about race. And, if you're just a conservative, then it's just about conservative values. And then conservative returns with, if you're just a conservative, you just believe in the things that are objectively true. And then when you're a black conservative, you believe things through the lens of your blackness. Now, I'll give them a little bit of that, but I'm going to add one more thing as far as what I see black conservatism to be. Again, I think it's very much like black feminism, which is just like white feminism. It's just black women practicing it on black men. What I see black conservatism is, as far as these guys are practicing it, it's white conservatism. The guys who call themselves black conservatives, what they're really practicing is white conservatism with a black face. So I'm going to modify my previous statement into that. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to modify these guys. They can't just be conservative. They have to take all of the white nationalist shit with the white conservatism, the white American conservatism, and add it to their black conservatism. But at any rate, because I listened back to the stream and I said, let me clarify that. Let me clarify that. So now tonight we're not really talking about that so much. I'll touch on it. But this tonight, what this is about the Black Exile. Shango on the last stream came through. He shot me a link, and we kind of went through this video. It's about the what is it? The Black Chud. I think that's what he called it. I think that's what it's called. The Black Chud. So the Black Incel, right? And Hood said that, he wouldn't connect it necessarily to the shooter, the mass shooter portion of it, just the incel portion of it. And you know what? I'm going to give him that. I'm going to give that to Hood Conservative, right? But let's move on. So we touched on that, right? But, the bigger conversation was about, conservatism and black men who call themselves conservatives, right? Yeah, the chud, right? So what we're going to do today, because I watched the video after the stream, because what I told Shango when we were in the stream, because I said, I think that what dude said was valid. And he said to an extent, right? And I said, well, to what's the extent, right? So we're going to go through this video today, right? I'm going to pull it up and we're going to go through this video today and discuss it, right? We're going to discuss Black exiles, right? How does this happen? Why? And, I want to have a fair and balanced discussion about this, right? So let's bring this video up. I'm going to bring it up again, right? And it's funny, I also watched another video by an Asian kid that is called You'll Never Be White, right? Very interesting video also. And I'll probably touch on that also. But we're going to start with the Chud video. Right? Going to get right into it. It's Friday. You know what? It's Friday. So, probably could have a little bit more leeway with y'all, but I ain't going to waste your time. Going to get right into it. The Black Exile. So let's go to the first super chat. And by the way, shout out, Adrian Capoy. It's on. So we're gonna start with Brandon. Shout out to Steph. Shout out. I see you, T Wall. Grand Poobah, what's going on? Say black conservatives get their backs kicked in this week. But we got a lot on the space. Look. Politics as usual coming soon. Part 4. I think it's part 4. All right. So let me shout out Hood Conservative, because me and Hood Conservative, like, politics as usual, number one, was just me and him. That's how that series started with Hood Conservative. Hood Conservative will always be a part of politics as usual, as much as, you know, he kind of, you know, makes niggas skin itch, but, you know, he's a very important part of that series. So I'll always have him on. So let's go to Brandon's super chat. Black exile is a real thing. It is part of the genesis of coonism. Yes. But the chuds of the community need both empathy and constructive criticism. So I want to, yeah, I definitely want to go into that. What Leon talked about. The chud will not dance or engage with the community. He is more worried about what he likes. Even white people dance to R&B and rap music. So I call Cap. He is a reject. He's definitely a reject, but we're gonna go into that tonight. We're definitely gonna go into that tonight. All right. So let me drop this down. Appreciate your super chat, Brandon, and welcome. I haven't seen you in a while. You've probably been busy. Let me go into my history and pull this up. So let me. All right, there it is. All right, so let me bring this back. So, you know, for those who, I don't know how many of y'all, if everyone, seen the Coon is the New Black stream. So we're gonna go into this. Let me get this up. This is an important discussion to have, man. To be honest, all bullshit aside, right? So let's pull this up. So let me drop down. Let me drop that down. All right. So let's get this up. Should be able to hear it once I hit play. Let's go.
Okay, right now, I want to talk a little bit about what it's like to be a reject within your own race. You see, in my opinion, I feel like if you are a black man who is non-stereotypical, your life is going to feel like a curse. It is easier to exist in this world as a black guy who fits into the stereotype. And I believe that's the case because within the black community, if you do not adhere to the prescriptive ideas of what it means to be a black person, you're going to be tortured everywhere you go. Because everywhere you go, black people are going to view you and see you as an outsider. You're going to be labeled as whitewashed or an Uncle T, if you catch my drift, or they're going to call you a raccoon, just simply due to the fact that you do not conform to their idea of what it means to be black. Like, I never understood that. How is a black person supposed to act? How is a black person supposed to be, talk? What is a black guy supposed to listen to? Like, growing up, I always felt opposite to what they told me black was. So in my mind, I never felt attached to my race, or I never felt attached enough to my race to make my entire personality and identity my skin color. So for the longest time, I've always viewed myself as a brain occupying a meat sack or inhabiting a meat sack or a vessel, pretty much. And that has caused me a lot of alienation because I would go over family members' houses and they will all just be dancing at a barbecue or listening to, you know, hip hop songs or R&B songs. And I always felt secluded because I was never into that. I don't hate that culture, but when it came to like black culture or like hood culture or street culture, I never felt attached to it. I was always into alternative things. The music I listened to was alternative. The way I dressed was very alternative. My hobbies and interests were all different from what black people took to. So you can imagine all that did was just label me in their minds as a traitor, you know, and
So let me pause this right here. Now, the only part so far, the only part so far that I'll give pushback, I don't think, and I think maybe Henny King might have mentioned this, and I agree with him. I don't think that you're necessarily called a Tom or a Coon or a traitor or something like that just because you're not, you know, into what other people are into. Not necessarily, right? But people will call you names. They will make fun of you. They might call you like a black white boy or some shit like that. That type of shit, right? Depending on what your interests are, especially if it doesn't, ride with what, again, like he said, what's stereotypically black. What's going on, Will? Right? So, depends on what your interests are, right? If you're growing up in the middle of the hood, but somehow in that hood environment, like you listening to like Slayer or some shit like that, right? Or I don't know, some death rock or some shit like that. People are gonna speak on it. They're gonna speak on it because it's odd. It's odd. You know what I mean? Will just said, back in the days it was lame to collect comic books. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For the most part, right? So Uncut Underground. Hey, man. So, hey, look. You see Ty City in the building. It's all up to Ty City, man. Politics as usual. It's all about that guy right there. Wait on this guy. He told me he'd be available tomorrow. We'll see. Hey, Ty, I'll see if I can do tomorrow, bro. But yeah, Iron Maiden, Soundgarden. I still bump that Kurt Cobain, bro. I still bump that Kurt. You know what I'm saying? That Nirvana, man. That's that 90s shit. But my brother, on the other hand, that motherfucker was way over there with it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. I see you, I see you, bro. I see you, bro. But we're gonna try to make it work. But yeah, man. Yeah, man. So let's play a little bit more of this. But for the most part, he's talking some real shit. Let's keep it real. He's talking some real shit. Okay, so let's hear the brother out.
That's so unfortunate, man, because Black people love to talk about how other races treat them badly and how everyone hates Black people. We're so tortured by the world and we're victims, and they always fail to acknowledge how Black people destroy other Black people. And it's like when you do bring that up, they either brush past it quickly or they just invalidate your experience. Because in most Black people's minds, racism or hatred or discrimination only matters when it's coming from a white person. And that's what Black people have been indoctrinated to think. They think that Black on Black hatred or Black on Black bullying or Black on Black violence doesn't matter that much. It's like, that's why I don't talk to anyone IRL about this, because it's just going to be an endless argument, and I'm tired of arguing. This video was not to preach self-hate. I'm not making this so you can, be on my side. I'm just trying to share my experience because I'm tired of Black people being hypocrites.
So let me pause this, right? So what I will say about what he just said is, let's not pretend that every culture don't give his outsiders a hard way to go. Every culture gives his outsiders a hard time. That's just how that works. What's up, Greg? I see you. And the Black on Black shit, yeah. See, is comments like that that'll make motherfuckers look at you like you a coon, right? Oh shit! Look who's in the motherfucking. Oh shit! Look who's in the motherfucking. Hey! I gotta have you on again. Yo, shout out to AM1. Shout out to AM1. Hey, shout out to AM1. I want to say something, but I'm gonna save it. I want to have you on again, bro. We got to have another conversation. Okay? But I got to get this man his props. I got to get this man his flowers. Shit is different. But anyway, shout out to you, bro. But yeah, man. the thing about what he's saying is, yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. The thing about what he's saying is, as far as like he's ostracized for being different. I think that every culture has that. If you're surrounded by a group of people who do things like this, I mean, shit, they got wiggers, right? The white boys, they call, the guy who's trying to be black, they call him a wigger. They got that shit, right? So it's black people are not unique in that we like everyone else is like open to this. Oh, you're different. like this the type of shit that'll ruffle some feathers. Brandon, again, thank you for the super chat. I can empathize. We said about with this kid because I had similar experiences, but I became balanced in my presentation. That's the tough thing being black men. We got to code switch in ways other races don't. That's a fact. That's a fact. I think that some of the other races, I ain't gonna say a lot, but some of the other races are aiming to be white, right? And then they have their issue with that, right? So AM1 says there's no singular black culture. We got to stop the silliness. Yeah, but we can't lie that we push hood shit to the forefront. And he's going to say that in this video. And I agree with him. We push hood shit to the forefront. In other cultures, like criminality exists, but it's not the preeminent, right? Necessarily. Now, there's a reason for this, and we're going to discuss that too, right? But we push our criminal element to the front. That's the cool shit. There's a reason for it, though. It didn't just happen by accident, right? Let's listen to more of what he got to say.
So it's just, I don't know, it's backwards to me, so backwards. But yeah, man, my experience as a black outsider was just very brutal. Growing up, going to inner city schools, black kids would pick on me every single day. The black boys would physically assault me and call me names and just bully me every day. And it got to a point to where I had to defend myself so much that I was always getting sent to the principal's office because I was always getting into fights, and it was just so unfair that I had to go through that treatment. And when it came to black girls, they were very open and vocal about how they felt about me. And it was always negative. They always told me how ugly I was. They always told me that I was a lame. They told me I was a loser because I didn't wear Jordans. I didn't wear Nikes. I didn't care about Chief Keef or whatever rapper was popular during that time. You know what I mean? Like, it's so brutal because I was just trying to exist as a normal kid. And I was always lumped into, just some social war or like some identity war. And I didn't care about that stuff. Like, even growing up, I never cared about looking nice. I never cared about dressing like a hood kid. Like, all of the hood kids wore the same exact, like, they all dressed the same. Every hood kid wore Jordans, some type of polo t-shirt or Aeropostale or Hollister, or they wore True Religion jeans because, I went to school I was in middle school in like the mid 2010s or like early 2010s. So like that was the style back in the day, just Hollister, Aeropostale, all of those like name brand clothing, companies or whatever. And even till this day, I am a very minimalistic person. I have one pair of shoes. They're Converses. I don't care about anything. Like, I thrift my clothes. I don't care about wearing designer clothing, but not to drag it out. But yeah, that's what all the kids would tease me about because I was just so different. And it just made my high school experience and my middle school experience a living nightmare. But it's funny because when I attended a predominantly white school, or a predominantly Hispanic school, I never faced bullying. I never had to fight a white person. I never fought a Hispanic person. The most I could say was that I was still invisible. I was still a loser, but at least I was not getting picked on every single day. You know what I mean? But it's slightly different when it came to the Hispanic school, because when I went to a predominantly Hispanic school, I was more accepted.
Let me pause this. I'm gonna read Shane's comment. Shane, man, come on, man. Now you know this ain't fair. You know this ain't fair. Shane says, I can count on one hand how many times I've been called the N-word by any white person, but the amount of times I've been called the N-word by black women mostly and a few black men is incalculable. Come on, man. Shane, nigga. You know how many people? Listen, if I had to count how many niggas I done called niggas, come on, man. Come on, man. That, you know that ain't the same thing, man. You know, white kids, they have to be in a special environment and mood, and they have to have a certain advantage in the situation and in the moment to reach deep down and pull out a nigga and throw it at you. Come on, man. Now I done call niggas. And it ain't the same as a white boy calling you nigga. Come on, man. Come on. It's not, that's a false equiv, man. Come on, man. Anyway. Win, lose, or rug. Thank you for the super chat. My brother wore a jean jacket with studs and band patches and Doc Martin. 0 issues. This kid got some character flaws. And we're going to explore that too. T-Wall says, oh, yeah. Green Day, man. That Green Day. T-Wall says, learning that there was upstanding, intelligent black people that existed and did great things, and there was greater parts of black culture made a huge difference in my life growing up. All right. Jesse Lee says, Blink 182. All right. He said, Shane, are you not a black man? Yeah, he's black. Oh man, Shane is black as a motherfucker. That's my boy, man. Shane was a co-star on this channel when I started. But Shane too busy. Shane too busy to fuck with the Keep It 100 channel at this point. Says black people use the N-word like Smurfs use the word Smurf. Yeah. You know, every group of people has a slur that they use. It's not just us. We're not alone. I mean, shit, women use bitch like the word Smurf, and you're not allowed to say it. I tell women, hey, look, I'll stop saying nigga when you stop saying bitch. They call each other bitches. Is this something we don't know? Bitch. But bitch. Look here, bitch. Bitch. Miss Cantrell is here. She can tell you. Can't you, Miss Cantrell? Cantrell be like, me and my bitches. Because, bitch, who is you talking to? Bitch, what time is you going to be here? But you let out one bitch, nigga. Your ass getting fucked up. Miss Cantrell will tell you. Bitch. Imagine some girl talking about, hey, you know that word was meant to oppress us. You can't be calling each other bitches. They took the power back, right? They took the power. It's said with affection. Is what they call it? It's endearing. It's said with endearment. That's my bitch. We are bitches. These are my bitches. Right? She'll tell you. She laughing, right? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, let's listen to some more. Let's listen to some more.
And it's weird like that. Like growing up for me, I always had a love for Mexican people or just Hispanic people in general because from a young age, I was exposed to Mexican culture because my dad was dating a Mexican girl for a couple of years and she would bring us around her family and her family would embrace me and they used to show me how they, cooked and they showed me how their culture was from a very young age. I was exposed to Mexican culture and growing up, I always had a love for Mexican people because of that, because they always showed me love and they always respected me and it was different, I felt more connected to them than I did to black people. And it's funny too because even Mexican girls were nicer to me. I'll never forget when I was like 16, like one of the cause I mean, it's no surprise I'm still like single. I never had a girlfriend, but one of the only girls in my life who actually found me to be attractive was like this Hispanic girl when I was 16. And, I'm like a mental cell slash like, I am sub 5, but I am still like a mental cell.
I'm from New York. I can find you some. In reference to the small hat thing, yeah, they do. They just don't do it in your company. A lot of those slurs get thrown around. They just don't happen in front of you. Real shit. Right? That's the thing. I'll be like, yo, like, depending on like who's around, I feel like certain words need to be used in certain company. And that's the difference between like us. Our shit is pop culture. Black slang is pop culture. That's just what it is. All those other people's slangs and slurs and shit like that is not pop culture. Black culture is pop culture. Everywhere you go, you got people saying it's all to the gazud. They use that word everywhere you go. Right? Niggas in Paris, Our shit is pop culture. You got white people crip dancing. So it's not an equal comparison when it comes to that. Right? But context is everything. When black people say nigga, so what? That is the language. It's not going away. Let's not act like all of a sudden it offends us. Right? If you don't want to be called that, I'll do my best. But it's our language. It's been our language. And it's not about to change anytime soon. But it is not the same for anybody who feels like, well, if black man could say nigga, then white man could. No. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. Ice-T said it best. If you're not part of the group, don't use the slur. Or get fucked up. Shit, gay motherfuckers call each other gay slurs. Just make sure if you do it to them, make sure that, it ain't like 30 of them. Or they might change your life. I'm just saying. But the N-word has been part of our culture. We didn't make it up. But it's here. It's going nowhere. Right? So let's not pretend that if we stop saying the N-word, our lives will change. We'll start getting bank loans and, the better jobs and, all of this other shit. Like it's going to change something. Like if we stop saying nigga, like, racism will go away and our shit is just, let's stop this shit. Let's stop it. White people are not going to say nigga in front of you. They're not going to do it. They know better. Unless it's like 80 of them or they're really far away. in the car, nigger, you know, they always do it at a safe distance. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's not do that. Let's play some more.
But I never talked to her, right? I was just, I don't know, I was too in my own head at the time. I thought that no one could find me attractive, but supposedly I was told that this Hispanic girl called me cute or whatever, but I didn't believe whoever told me that anyway. But yeah, but that never happened with black girls. Black girls never told me I was attractive, you know. And it's not just about women. It's not just about girls. I'm just saying like they they didn't judge me because I feel like other races and other cultures don't have the same standards as black people. Black people have the standard.
I don't know. I'm imagining he's somewhere in his 20s. I'm just guessing. This video is not that old. He sounds like he's young. He sounds like he's in his 20s. I don't know if he's late teens, 20s, something like. I would hope that he's not in his 30s. I would hope that he's not in his 30s talking like this. But let's go.
That if you're not some street person, you're just not cool at all. Whereas I know there are Mexican gangs, I know there are like hood white people as well, but it's not the same thing. I feel like black people play street culture at the forefront. They make that the main focal point of black culture. Like, you could disagree all you want, but that's really true. I swear to goodness, that's true. Look up every black person who's rich in this world, in this society. Most of them are going to be rappers, or they're going to be some form of a stereotype. And you can't argue with that. Like, all you see is that in your community. Like, go to any black community, you will always see black people portraying the stereotype. And most likely those people have a greater time within the black race. Like, they're always going to be more accepted. Like, white kids even want to, you know, copy ghetto black people. You don't see black kids trying to copy Neil deGrasse Tyson or Basquiat. You see black kids and white kids trying to imitate NBA Youngboy or Chief Keef or King Von. Like, that's how it is. So I know there's some truth to what I'm saying, right? And I'm not the only black guy, or I'm not the only black person who has experienced what it's like to be an outsider. I have watched so many videos of black people experiencing the same exact things as me, and they also talked about it. And I watched, not watched, but well, I watched and I read like posts on forums about black people and their experiences as well.
Hey Todd, when you say not true, let me know what part you're addressing when you say not true.
So yeah, it's a thing that no one likes to talk about. It's always going to be the elephant in the room. So it's best for you to just, I don't know, man, just seclude yourself. That's what I did. I started to just seclude myself from black people because it's like, I kid you not, man. Everywhere I go, it's the same treatment. I lived in a lot of states, man. I lived in a lot of fucking states. And every single time, it's like black people just notice. It's like black people can tell that I'm different, or they can tell I'm an outsider because they just treat me so weird. Like, it's just so unfair, man. And I did have a couple of like black acquaintances in school, but they were always autistic or like neurodivergent, which I liked because I realized that the autistic slash neurodivergent black kids, they were all cool. They were all nerds just like me. They liked the same things I liked. And most of the time they were picked on just like I was picked on as well, you know? So yeah, so those were the only black kids who I took to. But all of the other black kids were so focused on fitting in and trying to gain the acceptance of total strangers. And that concept never made sense to me. I always thought it was trivial to seek validation from kids that you're not going to remember 10 years down the line. Like, no one's going to care that you came to school with the newest Jordans in 10 plus years. You know, I always thought that was meaningless. And I'm not saying that to sound like I'm above people or that I'm smarter than people. I'm just saying, like, to me, it's so trivial to seek acceptance from human beings.
So black people are not the only people who seek acceptance through material. It would be ridiculous to think that black people are buying all of the Gucci, all of the Louis, like all of the designer shit, like it's black people. Now I know that like the people like to talk a lot about our spending power, right? Oh, we got spending power, right? As if we buy all of the shit. Like nobody else wears like the Jordans. Like niggas buy all the Jordans. It's ridiculous, right? Like their whole $1 billion, like, you know, like revenue is built on black people. Nah. We're not the only ones rocking this shit. Okay? We're not the only ones rocking this shit. Brandon says, I feel sad for this kid because you can hear the deep hurt in his voice, and it's gonna take a lot for him to get to a place of healing where he's not angry. He could become a hardcore coon if he doesn't heal, right? So I think what happens with a lot of these guys, right, who feel like they don't fit into, like, just imagine you're the black kid, you're around black people. It's different if you're one of these kids and you live in a white neighborhood. If you are black and you grew up in the suburbs around other races of children, then this issue doesn't affect you as much as if you grow up in the hood and you're one of these guys. There's really no refuge for you. It's hard if you're like in a black enclave, like, and you grow up with these different interests, right? So, you know, but you're going to develop opinions on the people that are around you that will come off like the opinions of people outside of the people around you, right? So, yeah, yes, Sergeant Willie Pete, because Sergeant Willie Pete is one of them guys. But yeah, man, you know, if you go like, because most of your experience with black people, your experiences will be negative. Your opinions will be negative. This is just what it is, right? So, you know, because you're not, what I told Tito, you're not invited to play, you know, in the reindeer games. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the hate created. If you feel like you're hated on, you're ostracized, again, it's like, if it's fuck me, it's fuck you. All right. Brandon says, I'm a firm believer in the idea of being a balanced black man that can code switch because it's a learned skill. This kid is likely surrounded by extreme pookies or extreme nerds, and he's just confused. Maybe, but I don't want to assume, right? The fact that he didn't even say his family was down for him is really telling. All right. I think it's best for him to be around other groups. It'll be torture for him to be around black people. But I do agree with Brandon. I mean, code switching. I mean, you ain't got to be super thug, right? But it's just like certain people that are in black culture, they can go outside of black culture and behave for and perform for the people outside, right? But you're gonna have kids like this that can't do that. They can't do it. Just like you got hood niggas that they can't lead a hood. You got people that can't code switch. They are hood 24/7. This kid is the opposite. He is, you know, whatever he is, whatever you want to call it, 24/7. He can't not necessarily conform, but adapt. Should be able to adapt, right? It's a social skill, which earlier somebody alluded to, I forget who it was, that this kid might have social issues. Because I think most people, well, I ain't gonna say most people, a lot of people, because most is more than 50. I don't want to make up numbers, but you have a lot of people who have the ability to move into different spaces and read the room and adapt. So whatever. Win Loser Rug says it's one thing to be an outcast from the community, but to be an outcast from your family just seems strange. Where did he pick up these interests? Hey, look, man. It's totally possible. It's totally possible to have interests or to develop interests that are like, you know, have nothing to do with your environment. Have nothing to do. Hey, Ray, what's going on? They have nothing to do with your environment. Okay? Let's listen to some more.
Really is to me. But school aside, even within my own family, I'm treated like a black outsider or an outsider in general. Like, I'll never forget when my older brother told me that I'm not like him. And he told me that me and him have nothing in common. One time he told me that he felt more close to our cousins, or he felt like our cousin was more of a brother to him than I was. You know, he also said that he felt like his friends were more of a brother to him than I was. And that was brutal for me. At the time, I cared so much. I was deeply affected by that because, I mean, I don't know how many of you out there have an older brother, but for me, for the longest time, I have always looked up to my older brother, but he always rejected me and he always hated me.
So let me pause this for a second. I wanted to spell one more thing. And this is not knocking guys like this, but I hate this assumption. There's an assumption that if you're not, someone that conforms to black culture, if you're not a hood nigga or, you're into hip hop or any of the traditionally black things, it's because you're somehow educated, intellectual, you're some smart guy and this and that. No, that's not always true. There's a lot of guys like this, right? There's social outcasts in whatever space they are. And this happens not just in black culture, but in other cultures, right? But just because you don't fit into black culture doesn't automatically mean you're an educated whatever. I don't even want to say lame, but it's this assumption that if you're not conforming to black culture, it must be because, you're some, prodigy. No, that's not always that's not a given. I've said it again and again and again. And I see you, Bishop X, what's going on? I say it again and again and again and again. Just because you're lame don't make you educated. Sometimes you're just lame. Sometimes you're just lame. Right? Sometimes you're just lame. But right here, he's talking about his brother. His brother looks at him crazy. Now, I don't know if he's going to describe what kind of guy his brother is. What's up, Cam? I see you. I don't know if he's going to describe what kind of guy his brother is, what his brother's demeanor is, right? But right. And Jesse Lee says, yeah, which is okay. Yeah, being lame is okay. It's okay to an extent. It's okay to an extent. Everybody's not going to be the cool guy. Everybody can't be Mr. Swaggy. There has to be a place for lames. There has to be a place for lames. Lames, some of them are educated. Not all of them. Some of them are just lame. But some of the lames are educated. And these educated lames are responsible for some of the shit you use. Some of the shit that makes your life easier. Okay? Look at us. We're on the internet, on a computer. Some of you guys are watching me on a phone where you could see me and hear me. Remember back in the days we used to watch suggestions and they used to talk on the Visiphone and ooh, one day it would be nice to have that. Well, now we have it and it's right here. And you know who made this? Lame niggas. Lame niggas made this stuff. If we had to rely on the super smooth, super swaggy hood niggas to make this shit, we wouldn't have it. We have to have somebody that can think beyond, you know, the fucking the cut in his jeans, the crispy shit, and to get all the ring, and you know, his hat got to be tilted just like that. You know? How many bitches am I gonna fuck this week? You need these guys. You need them. They're important. Somebody got this shit got to work. This shit got to operate. You know, lights and you know, heat. Well, that's blue collar shit, but you know what I'm saying? The technology. I got a camera in front of me. See, there's a camera. See it? There's a camera in front of me, and there's some nerd niggas that made that. We need these people. I remember listening to Ja Rule talk about the producer that produced all the shit that, you know, and he was a weirdo. He would come into the studio, and some of you might have read this story. He would come in the studio, he would light all his candles and put on his little smooth music and make them hits. They would make hits. He would make them hits. So Cadillac Ty and them was in the, they would see him do all this shit, and they would talk, and they would, you know, poke their little jokes and make fun. And Ja Rule was like, shut the fuck up. Let him do his fucking thing. We're winning. Now, is it possible to be cool and be smart? Absolutely. 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 You know what I'm saying? But yo, it has it. Everybody is this cool, swaggy, you know, get all the bitches Mac Daddy. There has to be a balance. These motherfuckers have to exist. We need them. We need them. You need a motherfucker that's just into astrology and fuck all the shit y'all talking about. I just want to know about the stars so that maybe if a meteor about to hit this motherfucker, we'll know about it. Or a motherfucker that's just into, you know, microchips and shit. And he ain't gonna wear the Gordon Gartrell shirt. He ain't gonna wear the J's. He ain't gonna wear none of that shit you wear. Because he ain't give a fuck about that. But he's going to be solely interested and focused in creating that new innovation, that new technology that's going to change everybody's life. Niggas are clowning the niggas that made the personal computer and 5G and all this fly shit y'all like to use. That's the nigga that got pushed around in school. Now, again, like I said, not everybody that's lame is going to do that. Hence, the guy that's talking right now. I don't think that he's one of them kids. I don't think he's lame because he's so smart and he's just socially awkward and you know, he's an outcast because he's so intelligent that he doesn't know how to relate to people. If you think about it, athletes are like this too. Athletes are so focused on their athleticism and building themselves up to be the best that they're socially awkward. That's why you got so many athletes getting played by these women, right? Because they're focused. They're focused on what they're doing. When you focusing on a particular thing, it might take you away from, you know, social interactions and, you know, developing social skills. Let's go.
So I never got that acceptance from my older brother that I craved, you know? And I know I'm kind of like contradicting myself because I was just talking about acceptance, but I feel like it is different to seek acceptance from family, you know, versus a stranger. So it's kind of different, but I still contradicted myself. I'll keep myself, you know, honest. I'll be honest. But anyway, but yeah, so yeah, my brother would treat me like an outsider. And even in like family conversations, every time we had a family conversation and I tried to voice my opinion about something, you could just tell no one respected what I had to say. And it really made me stop talking. And I would seclude myself from my family. And now that I have my own apartment, I do not contact my family at all. And I don't try to go to any family outing or cookout anymore because I always sit there by myself, just faking every interaction, you know, and they always treat me like Tyrion Lannister or something, you know, like they treat me like I'm adopted pretty much. So I just gave up. I gave up, man. I gave up. It's meaningless for me to try to do anything with my family at this point because they always are going to view me as someone who does not belong. But that's the struggle when you're Black. And I'm pretty sure the same thing goes for many of you. You know, just because you guys may be non-Black, it does not mean that you're still not a reject within your own community.
Right.
So, you know, I can only speak from the perspective of a guy who happens to be Black. So that's what I try to do right now. But I may make a part two. I may make a part two. I don't know. But this was something I wanted to get off my chest. That's really about it. Take care.
All right, I'm gonna stop that. So, so this is the other video that I was looking at. You'll Never Be White. I think I don't know if you see it up there, but yeah, man. So let me drop this down for a second because I might even play that, but let me just put it there for a second. Yeah, at the end of the day, this is not unique to our culture. It's just that nobody really cares about what other people do. I think that Black interactions, Black relationships, Black culture is like at the forefront of what everybody like pretends to give a fuck about. Y'all ever notice that? Like everything is about niggas. Like this is, you know, like focus on like, you know, like even your man Charlie Kirk running around and talk about well niggas this and niggas that and Black guys, Black people, Black people, Black people. You don't really give a fuck about Black people. But there's a lot of conversations around what Black people do, like as if like some of this stuff doesn't happen nowhere else. We're the only ones doing it. Every culture has outsiders. Every culture has things that are expected of you in that culture. Right? So, okay. So now, just want to speak on this. Let's take a deep dive into it. I might drop the link, right? Yeah, dude is socially awkward. Let's start there. He definitely is. Everybody can't be a social butterfly. The thing is, in Black culture, I can't speak for other cultures as far as what I'm about to say, but in Black culture, social skills are very important. It's kind of like what do you call it? Social currency is what a friend of mine used to describe it as. Social currency is very important in Black culture. Social currency, how you look, how you carry yourself, all of those things, very important in Black culture. Social currency. I'm gonna keep saying that because I want that phrase to resonate past this stream. Social currency is very important to Black people. But so let's talk about this. I think a lot of what he says is true. A lot of what he says is true. Other groups do not promote, like, let's start here. We always talk about Black culture is matriarchal. And we know why thugs are at the forefront. It's because that's who the women like. Right? That's who the women like. It's not a secret. They make songs about it. They do podcasts about it. There's memes about it. There's shorts about it. There's reels about it. They don't like corny niggas. It's really important that to a black woman that you have some sort of demeanor to you. Does it necessarily have to be a street demeanor? Not necessarily. It's some confidence about you. Right? Cam is laughing. You know I'm right, Cam. You know I'm right. Right? There has to be something about you. This is the culture. It's the culture we grew up in. Our preeminent culture is the streets. Now, what happens with these kids, like when we talk about these guys, we give them a healthy amount of smoke. We kind of gotta. I would hope that black culture gets to a place where that dies, because we create like these coons that we call coons. We kind of create them. We kind of create them because we don't empathize with these guys. We have no sympathy for them. We just kind of write them off. Now, this is kind of like a villain arc. Where they eventually go and what they eventually become comes from this. Now, one thing I do find interesting is this. And I told Tito this earlier. You notice that the black outcasts, right? The black outcasts, the ones who are into different shit, they don't necessarily find brotherhood with other black kids that are into the same shit as them. Not necessarily. They seek outside the race. I don't get it. Like that part of it. I'm not saying they all do this. I'm saying it happens more often than not. As opposed to, like, instead of identifying as a black geek or black nerd or whatever, I'm black, but I'm into comics, and you're black, you're into comics, and we're cool. And we're going to hang out with a bunch of other black people or black men, or, you know, I'm going to talk about guys now because I don't think that this affects women as much. I don't think that black women have to be as socially, skilled as men do. I don't think so. There's women in here. You could disagree with me if you like and offer a counter. But I don't think that women just have to be cute. Men are the ones that have to be, socially, skilled. Right? So let's see what Bishop says. He says, this is mostly untrue. Black nerds go out of their way to geek out with other black nerds. Yeah, but a lot of that sometimes tends to be centered around them trying to, like, be white boys. Right? Like, and I'm not arguing with this. I think this is somewhat true. Back in the days, I collected comic books, and I hung out with other black kids that collected comic books. That's why I'm very passionate about these Marvel movies. But yeah, I didn't look for the white kids that bought comic books because, like, fuck the black kids that collect comics. I want to hang with some white boys because fuck black people. But I'm trying to understand how some of these kids make the leap. Bishop, I'm not going to allude to most or all, and I'm not going to put a number to it. But for the ones that do, for the ones that decide, you know what? Because I'm not stereotypically black, fuck black people as a whole, as opposed to finding other kids like me. Now, another thing that must be said is there might not be anyone like that close to you. It's already rare that you're this guy. So it's going to be hard to find a crew. Think about this. Nowadays, it's easier to do because we have the internet. But once upon a time, you didn't know who, you didn't know a large group of people that were like this if you were different, because if they weren't in front of you, you know, he said, just watch a Black Dragon Ball. See, you're talking about shit later. Like, I don't know how many of these kids were around you when we were younger. Just know that it ain't that many. So it's like what he said. You got to kind of hang out with the other misfits. You end up hanging out with, like, I don't know, the kid with the funny ear, or, you know, the kid with the wandering eye, and, you know, everybody else who might not be an outcast for the same reason you're an outcast, but they're somehow outcast, you know, maybe for some aesthetic reason or some other shit. Remember Revenge of the Nerds? I wish I had a picture to pull up, but Revenge of the Nerds was exactly that. They even had the black gay dude in the crew. He was outcast because he was gay, not because he was lame, but that was the difference that made him an outcast. And these outcasts will draw, you know, will be drawn together. All right, so let me see. My coworker was a Crip in his 20s with all the coochie. Now in his 40s, he's in exile and does not want to be around blacks because he's no longer high ranked. Said, I collected comics too. It helped me with my visual media career. No shame in it. Yeah, we drew from the comics. We would draw from the comics. AM1, did you have the How to Draw Comics, the Marvel Way book? Cause when that shit dropped, it was a game changer. You know what I'm saying? It was a game changer. You had all Stan Lee dropped the book. Niggas ain't want to hear shit. You know what I'm saying? That was my see. The reason I'm gonna tell y'all, the reason that I can listen to this guy talk and tell you this shit is real. You want to know why? You want to know why, nigga? Because, nigga, this was me, nigga. That was me, nigga. When I was growing up, I was the kid that was into the comics. I was into different shit. I went into all that shit. I didn't give a fuck about no, you know, designer shit. When I was in junior high school and high school, I went into none of that shit. I went into none of that shit. And I hung out with some dudes that was like that. And we was that crew. I wasn't one of the cool kids. I was not one of the cool kids in high school. The only thing was I had jokes, though. I had jokes, though. That was the thing. The football players and all the cool motherfuckers, the one thing, me and my boy Will, they didn't want to fuck with us because we had jokes. Because I come from a block. All they did was talk shit. And I had jokes. And I would embarrass the shit out of the athletes. Me and my man, we would just crack clown, straight clown niggas. And if you're a funny dude, it'll get you over. If you're a funny dude, it'll get you over. So the same way y'all see me roasting motherfuckers on this internet, we was roasting niggas in high school. The cool kids. We would find your flaw and we would drag that shit out, nigga. You talk all the shit you want. You can be all as cool as you want. And a lot of cool niggas, they be with their bitches and they be trying to talk shit, and we would make these hoes laugh at you. This is a fact. We would make these hoes laugh at you. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of shit with niggas behind them jokes. If you funny motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? If you was a funny dude, you get over. But nah, you know, eventually I started rocking certain shit and wearing and dressing a certain way and shit like that, right? But you know, eventually a lot of kids, they find themselves, but a lot don't. A lot don't. And they end up hating black people behind this shit because that is their experience. So let me say this. As much as we talk about sellouts, coons, dudes that date white women and all this other shit, because they never fit into the shit, right? You got to empathize with this shit a little bit. First thing people might say is, well, why you went that way with it? Why are you talking this and that about black people, yada, yada, yada. You ain't got to take it to that level. The first thing we got to think about is, well, who are we to tell them how they should react to being ostracized? Now, Swarthy Cam says why. I'm going to tell you, Swarthy. Listen to me, Swarthy. The same way that black women, right, who are darker, want us to kind of empathize with colorism. You watch the music video, what you see? Light-skinned women, Latinas and shit, right? Might see a little blonde-haired white chick thrown in for flavor. The same way women want us to empathize when they don't fit the beauty standard, right? You got to kind of give niggas grace for not fitting the swag standard. You do. Or this is what you get. Now, I don't necessarily like it. I don't co-sign it or whatever, but it is what it is. We can't tell people how they should react to being ostracized, disrespected, not accepted. Period. Now, D says, now, look, this is the biggest lie in the world. This is the biggest lie you'll be told in your life. Just be yourself. This is the biggest lie in the world. Just be yourself. Hey, man, just be yourself. And Swarthy Cam says, yep, D, but a few comments ago, you said they better pull it together. Now, what does pull it together mean? Means, nigga, you better do something. Make a change. That's what you're saying. You're saying make a change. Pull it together and get some confidence. So that means confidence has to derive from something. It's hard to pull confidence out of thin air. It has to derive from something. Maybe your confidence can come from your abilities. Like AM1 said, he was, into the arts. The funny thing about art, like let's because I almost skipped over that, Swarthy, you earlier you mentioned creatives are different. I was that nigga too. All of my money I didn't give a fuck about the fly sneakers or the jeans. And at one point I was like heavy into, I would go to I don't know who here is from New York. They had a store in New York called Pearl Paint. And we lived in that motherfucker, boy. Like the airbrush gun and the compressor and the design markers and the drafting pins, all this shit. I always had the flyest, most expensive art equipment available at the time. I didn't give a fuck about that cool shit. I was into my shit. I had my cameras. I had my film camera, projector, all this shit. And, I had the over-the-shoulder Panasonic VHS camera. Been doing this shit forever. And when I was a teenager, whatever little money I would get, I'll save my shit up and buy this shit. And everybody's looking at me like, nigga, fuck all that, nigga. Get you some clothes. You got to get some social currency, nigga. You got to go out there and be the fly nigga. And spending money on all this art shit is not going to make you the fly nigga. And my moms would be like, look at him. He's so well dressed. Like, well, then buy me some clothes, bitch. I'm your son. You buy me some shit. I'm a kid. God damn it. Still a kid. I still live in your house. Buy me some shit to wear. It's your job. Damn it. Buy me some shit. Shit. His mother bought him them clothes. The fuck? How the fuck your mom's gonna tell you, hey, you know, that woman's son is very well dressed? At any rate, yeah, man. My brother, on the other hand, younger than me. He's my younger brother. Right? That motherfucker was dressy. He was dressy. He didn't have my interests. He wasn't a creative. He wasn't an artist. He was in the being fly. This motherfucker had his own ironing board. I kid you not, motherfucker younger than me. My little brother. This motherfucker used to starch the shit out of his jeans. He wanted that crease. The crease was important. Y'all know what I'm talking about. He had the crease in his jeans. Hey, Cam, you know what I'm talking about. Motherfucker, all the starch on this shit to make that shit so fucking sharp and cut your ass. The fucking crease in his jeans. Nigga, why the fuck do we crease jeans? That's some slack shit. Why do niggas crease jeans? You look at white boys. White boys don't crease jeans. Yeah, why do a nigga crease jeans? You look at white boys. White boys get new shoes, right? And beat them up. I didn't want these shits worn. What they call them? Worn in. I wear these shit. Nigga, what? Nigga shit gotta be crispy. Can't have a fold in it or nothing or tear or rip. White boy gets some shit and start ripping it up and tearing it up and cutting it up. Nigga can't do that. Nigga, your shoes gotta be straight out the box. Everybody in the chat, let me ask you something. How many times do you wear a pair of Air Force Ones? Yo, to this day, right? To this day, I don't know how y'all niggas keep sneakers for like 3 years and the shits look new. To this day, I don't know how y'all do it. How the fuck do y'all do that? I don't know how y'all niggas do it. Again, social currency. How the fuck do y'all keep a pair of sneakers looking new for 3 years? Now, you know, Chud said, I'm gonna call him Chud. He said, you know, I only have one pair of sneakers. That was me. One pair of sneakers. I only got one pair of feet, one pair of sneakers. Yeah. All about being clean. Right. Niggas got the toothbrush with the bar soap. Niggas doing this shit and then scrubbing their sneakers and shit. How the fuck do y'all keep a pair of sneakers? She said rotation. So that means you got to have multiple pairs of sneakers so that you ain't leaning too hard on one pair of sneakers. He said, we you New Yorkers, bro. That's how we roll. Nigga, I'm from Brooklyn. Nigga, I'm from Brooklyn. And I did everything that y'all niggas do, you know. I get the fucking, you know, for the Timberlands, you know, you get the can with the brush cap on it and you spray the shit on and you do this shit. I'll be like, yo, how long you had them shit? I had these shits 3 years. 3 years? 3 years? Said Harlem dudes had 1 pair, Brooklyn had 6 pair. They throw them shits out. That's why. These niggas get 1 crease in a pair of sneakers, throw the whole shoe away. Throw the whole shoe away. Said cats be looking crispy too. You know what New York niggas do? You see the hat that I'm wearing? You see how it's like this? Y'all know what I'm talking about. First of all, niggas get the hat this big, right? Because y'all saw Sean go to court with Diddy, and he wore the hat too big to cover his fucking face from the paparazzi, and that shit became a New York thing. Nigga got his hat this big, is sitting down like this, and the fucking bill of the hat is flat in the motherfucker, and nigga still got the sticker for the size of the hat right here. You know, and the hat will get dirty, and under the sticker will be clean, and nigga, crease your shit, nigga. When you watch ball, when you watch baseball, this is what they shit look like, nigga. New Yorkers be throwing that big ass hat on, and the shit be flat than a motherfucker. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm making fun of you. So it seems like you adapted and grew. Let me tell you, man. My evolution was something of champions. I had to evolve, man. I feel sorry for this kid. I feel bad for it. You know what? Most of the shit that I've been telling niggas is me trying to get niggas, because niggas be like, oh, these bitches. Understand, I'm not saying we don't have a modern woman issue, because we do. We do. But some of you could meet this shit halfway just a little bit. Because it ain't like nobody's fucking. Y'all know who the dudes the women like. And let me dispel a rumor. It ain't just the thug niggas fucking. I keep telling y'all, Pretty Ricky is a thing. Pretty Ricky is a thing. There is something to being clean cut that some of y'all niggas have not explored. But Chud says, you know what? I don't care about my appearance. And that's what the shit really be about. I remember late teens, early 20s, I was like that. I didn't give a fuck about that. I didn't care. I had other things on my mind. But if maybe, hey, A&1, I've been doing this for some time now. Look, just maybe you get a pair of clippers and a pair of liners, and maybe a razor. You know what I'm saying? You know, like if you're looking at the guys that the women are with, you don't have to be everything they are. Just take little bits and pieces of what they might be. That might be the thing that the girls like. Maybe. Now, if you do all of that and then they on some bullshit, because there's a lot of guys out here that are clean cut, still going through the shit that they're going through. There's still women talking about they need this amount of money on the first date. It's not just the thug niggas they like. Because I tell you right now, and I tell you again, I said it before, I done smashed a lot of these hustling niggas women. Pimp niggas women. Thug niggas women. Okay? Who said something about good bread? Oh, man, I was waiting for him to pop up in here. He popped up on Tito yesterday. That was a mistake. Mr. Good Bread. Did any of y'all know who this motherfucker was before that? Hey, Cam, just in case you don't know who Mr. Good Bread is, let me show you who Mr. Good Bread is. let me ask y'all a question. Hey, Cam, for all my New York niggas in attendance, right? For all my New York niggas in attendance. First of all, yeah, that's a corny ass name. Why does he call his ass Mr. Goodbread and me and my good breads? This nigga's corny. This nigga's corny. He's up there complaining. This nigga is trash. You trash, nigga. I hope you in the chat, nigga. You trash. Right? You say you saw Obi with the golden tooth. Ain't shit gold about that tooth. I call this nigga Professor Blacktooth. Now, Cam, look at this nigga's crib, right? Where that crib at? Where he at? Where he at? Look at the crib. Look at the closet. Look at the knob on the closet. Where he at? Where he at? This nigga claims he has a shipping business and he has employees. This nigga's streaming on a webcam with no mic. Nah, this nigga's uptown. He's uptown. He's uptown, bro. He claims to be from the Bronx, but living in Harlem. Tell me this is not a project apartment. My New Yorkers, tell me this ain't the P's. That shit look like the P's to me. Look at the closet. Look at the door. Look like the door frame on the closet. This nigga talking like he got 100,000 followers, talking shit. Oh, we just jealous. He got 100,000. Hey, AM1, there's some fuckery going on here, man. You ain't been here in a while. Shout out to AM1. Let me read your super chat, man. Let me get to your super chat. Thanks for the $5 super chat. A lot of guys adopted the Chia Pet swag strategy. What the fuck, bro? Grow locks or a beard because they think that makes them swaggy or hood. You know what? There might be some truth to that, especially the beard portion. Yo, who saw the what is it? The debate with the dudes and the chicks where my man had like all type of shit growing out of his head. Who saw this? Who saw that? My man had the wild, like, you ever put an onion over some water and like the shit grows out of the onion? That's the way his shit looked. Yeah. Hey, look, dreads and a ridiculous, like, out of control beard. There's some girls into that. You know what I'm saying? You hang some Rasta shit on your wall, burn some incense, you get some pussy. Yo, black women love a dirty ass nigga, yo. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Black women love a dirty motherfucker. Said, I emphasize with the young man, but he is just anti-black. A black female podcaster admitted to bullying Mike B in high school, but he still has love for black folk. No, I get it. Listen, you got people that's going to react a different ways. You got people that's going to react different ways. You're going to have people they're going to deal with it, and it's not going to make them hate everybody. And then you're going to have people who, you know, they're going to start developing negative views of black folks. This is not everybody, but some people go different routes. You got women, you got black women that been through shit with niggas and they don't hate black men. And you got black women that do. I'm just saying, by the time you see swirlers and divestors, like when you see pictures of them, like, what do they tend to look like? This is why they got unicorns and flowers and other random shit as they profile pictures. Cause them bitches is ugly. We can't say this shit. How do these chicks look? He said, beards and locks will always be okay with me. It's the cheat code. See, and one, you're right. He said, I bet good bread wear cheap deodorant. We're gonna get back to this kid. I might bring a couple people up, man. But I don't know who wants to. Hey, let me know who wants to jump up here, man, to discuss this a little bit. Just a little bit. Let's not be here all night. But yeah, man, I feel like this is like, oh boy, let me drop this nigga down. There's a real, like, oh boy, it's a true experience. We kind of create these people. It's really not on us to basically tell people how to react. We don't know people's villain arc. We don't know how they were treated. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what they've been through, especially if they've been jumped and beat up and shit like that. Now, we can say it doesn't mean you hate everybody, but it could mean that. Said, I remember a time when 50 million black men did not all have locks, braids, and beards. I mean, what's his name? Wyclef said it. He said, I turn on my TV, it's a dreadlock for free. You know? Said, Black exiles unite. Just let us know where you're uniting so we can jump your ass, motherfucker. Just let us know where you'll be. Okay? Sick of your asses, man. Black exile. Your ass is not exiled, motherfucker. All right, so all of a sudden everybody's expressing their originality. Yo, hey, look, this is what I'm gonna do, man. Let's see who jumps up here, man. Let's see who jumps up here. I want to keep it rotating. I don't want the long, I don't want the 3-hour stream, man. I'm trying to avoid the 3-hour stream. There's the link, man. There's the link. But yeah, man, your man, look, yo, tell somebody, somebody tell your man, get a mic. Get a microphone. Don't be jumping up on here talking this shit about, you know, you got 100,000 followers. You ain't even got a fucking microphone. You talking into your computer. Raw dog and shit, right? Shout out to Obsidian Nomad. I am one of those people. I don't hate my people, but I can't relate to a lot of the culture. Understood, right? Still to this day, I don't really fuck with all of the culture either. You know? I don't fuck with all of the culture. He said, what culture? What's your ethnicity? Uh-oh. You're running a tether check, ain't you? Anyway, so I got the link. I got the link down. Let me see. Okay, that say black culture. No. There's a bunch of fucking followers out there. Absolutely. I mean, who remembers when the beards became popular and then everybody out of nowhere grew a beard because the women were like, oh, beard gang. It's just all of a sudden everybody, you know. I waited till the shit died down, grew a beard for a hot minute, then cut the shit off. I was like, I ain't with this. My beard videos are still up. They're still up. There was a point where I had a little beard hanging down. I was like, this is whack. This is a lot of, I started to feel like how girls be complaining about like maintaining their natural hair, but I had it on my fucking face. I was like, nah, man, we ain't doing all that, man. Let me cut this shit off, man. Said black culture where the men now have longer hair than the women. Woo. Hey, man, you got to be careful saying shit like that, man. You get beat up. Dom. Hey, Dom, what's going on, Dom? Dom said, I made the culture work for me. And one said, I don't fuck with most of the culture. But there has to be a space for these types. There has to be a space for these types. You can't ostracize these guys and then get mad when they shit on you. You can't ostracize these guys and then get mad when they shit on you. Okay, Bishop X has entered the studio. Uh-oh. Let me bring him up. Hey, man. Behave, man.
3-hour
Nah,
stream. Let's go, boys.
let's say, hey, look, say what you got to say, man. You know what I'm saying? You say what you got to say, man.
No, I
Say
mean,
what you got to say. No, go ahead.
as the modern day president of the outcast Negro, I must say, uh, I feel that we're pretty well represented in nerd culture. I feel that it's the black men, especially around New York City. We made an entire culture out of Street Fighter. It wasn't the white boys in the '90s that started Street Fighter betting. It was us going to Chinatown Fair. It was us going to Jersey City. And whereas everybody else just put their quarters in line and got on and played the game, the niggas was up here betting on the games. And I keep telling people that's how we have modern day esports. It's because New York City niggas was betting on games.
Niggas was fighting over them games too.
No, I'm talking about like I was there. I was there in the '90s. Like I was at Chinatown Fair. That was my hangout at 8 on a break. So like I would constantly go back and forth across the Hudson to play Street Fighter. Like that was the thing. And I felt just as comfortable hanging out with a bunch of Chinese and Korean dudes and Filipinos and like even if you look at modern gaming today, it's still Dominicans, blacks. You'd be surprised how much we're represented, and we made it cool. Video games used to be something that was, geeky, and you couldn't play a PlayStation. Man,
Really?
look how many. Hey, it was, it
No,
was,
no,
it was.
when Nintendo first came out, that shit was pretty regular.
But think about how many women were like, "Oh, I don't like men who play video games." Now
That was later.
But all right,
That
but
was like
now,
I think. No, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
no, but I'm saying now, like, look how common it is just to get a bunch of black men in the barber shop, and everybody's talking about 2K, my sport, 2K, my career. Like,
You
there's a
gotta
lot of. Go
okay.
ahead.
You gotta remember when games first hit the market, like Atari, ColecoVision, and shit like that,
Oh,
right?
you go real far back.
Yeah, I am. We were all kids. We were all kids. The girls too, right? So, because there was a dawn of this, right? We're from that era of when the games started to hit home. Now, remember, before this, we would go to the arcade
Hmm.
and we would play the games at the arcade, and y'all motherfuckers would spend $1 million because I played games at the arcade, but not like some of y'all. Like y'all motherfuckers are like spend your mama change,
Yeah, guilty.
right? On the games, right? But then when the home games came out, whether it be ColecoVision, Atari, shit like that, right? What's that shit? What's the other shit? I'm forgetting one. Activision, right? All these games came out, and we started to get, you might have a couple kids on the block that had the game. We go to their house, but your parents were professional people, so you probably had the game yourself, motherfucker. We come to your crib and we take over your shit, motherfucker. Right? So we would go over people out, then we had these games. So at that point, nobody was really mad at the games. Everybody, I ain't gonna say everybody, but a lot of us were into the games, right? But then as time went by and motherfuckers grew up, some of us walked away from the games and some of us did not. And then you had, 30-year-old motherfuckers in the crib playing the game all fucking day.
Hey,
right?
here's my take on this. I had somebody tell me they're like, you're a grown man and you still play video games. I said, where else am I supposed to go? I'm in the house. My woman's running around here somewhere, and I'm staying out of trouble. Y'all young niggas are supposed to be running around the streets chasing hoes.
What trouble are your grown ass getting in if you're not playing a video game? Hold on, you telling me at 30 something you're getting in trouble if you're not on this game? I didn't play games at 30. What the fuck was you into that you had to play a game to stay out of some shit?
Hey man, Sue's Rendezvous was real back in the day. I just gotta say that.
Oh, the strip club. Okay. Now look, it's wild because while we're talking, right next to me, there's a big There's an arcade. There's what you know those arcade 1-up games. I got a Miss Pac-Man right here. Right here. Miss Pac-Man game. But I hardly fuck with it. I just like to have it. It's
a good piece of nostalgia for your nerdydom.
Right. So, but what I'm saying is, I know guys who play the game. Like, y'all remember back in the days where you would play a game and you would beat the game and then it was over and then you got rid of that and you got a new game and you would play that and you would beat that game and then that was it. This was back in the day. Y'all got games today that don't end. Y'all games don't end. Like there's like 30, 100, 11 levels of the same fucking game. Y'all could play the same game for years. They update the game and add new levels, and you talking to a motherfucker in Colorado, and he calling you a bitch ass nigga, and you calling him whatever you're calling him, and y'all are playing this game. Like, goddamn, like I can't necessarily relate to the years of playing the same game. Like I know motherfuckers gonna look at me crazy. I just can't. I can't.
But it's okay. Like your level of gaming is different, right? You want to play a game, get the experience. Like you probably played Resident Evil one time. You went through it. You saw the story. You got the original scare, and then it was over for you, and that's okay.
Yo, the last game that I played back in the day on a home game system. The last game I played, I'm dead ass, is Super Mario 3.
That's
Super Mario. Super Mario 3. That's the last. Yes, it is. That's the last game I played on a home gaming system. Is Super Mario 3.
Well, last game I played was 10 minutes before I logged on here.
I can't like
home on a Friday night.
Miss Pac-Man. I was playing that when I was a kid. That's I'm nice at Miss Pac-Man. But Tekken and all that shit y'all fuck with, and Fortnite, and I don't know shit about. I watch motherfuckers play games, but I don't know shit about that. Mike, if it ain't Nintendo from back in the day, like, or if it wasn't arcade, like I'm trying to get a Donkey Kong 3 game. I'm trying to get Donkey Kong 3.
There was a Donkey Kong 3?
You don't know there was a Donkey Kong 3?
I'm gonna bow out this one. I don't know there was a Donkey Kong 3.
What? Nah, stop playing with me.
No, I'm not playing with you. You're making me Google this right now.
Anyway, this is the shit I'm talking about. So, like, again, social skills. Get the fuck outside already. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it, introversion and all of that. I can relate to it. But I'm saying at some point, and it's bigger than just your interactions with black folks or even with women. You have to interact with people. You know what I'm saying? Am I tripping? Like, is it me?
Okay. But I hear what you're saying. You want people to get out and it to be like the 90s or to be like the 80s and everybody get outside and hang out on the block and act cool and learn how to talk to women and learn how to hang out with your homies. Yes. But not everybody's cut out that way.
No,
it's not. And it's like, and it's okay. Like I said, when I was in my 20s, I was already wifed up.
Right. But
where am I gonna go? I'm gonna sit home.
There's a trade-off though. Look, I understand this, right?
Mm-hmm.
While I'm trying to also, on one hand, I'm saying people deserve space to be themselves.
Yeah.
But understand what comes with that. Right? Understand what comes with that. Okay, it's cool. You could be an introvert. Contrary to popular belief, I'm an introvert.
What?
I'm a huge introvert. You would never know, but I am. I'm a huge introvert. You can't tell, but I am. But that's why I fuck with introverts. Y'all, introverts are cool. Okay? I don't like being around niggas too much and too often. Right? But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, I can go and be around people and I can talk to people, right? Some of my first jobs were customer service. I had to speak to people. At the end of the day, what I'm saying is you could be who you want, but just understand that everything is a trade-off. If you want to be the guy who's not the social butterfly, that's cool. I mean, sometimes it ain't what you want, it's who you are. I get it. But you got to accept the other piece of that. You got to accept that you will be looked at a certain way. Listen, we get on this internet and we talk shit about women and we talk shit about other things. We say a lot of shit that's not socially acceptable to say. And we get a lot of smoke for it.
Mm-hmm.
And some people don't want the smoke. I accept all smoke. You know, I'm on Facebook. I talk wild on Facebook. I tell niggas all the time, there is a certain label and a certain amount of smoke that comes with the shit that you say and do. And you got people that are on social media that they don't want to be argued with saying the things that they say because they think the way they think. And you gotta, if you're gonna put your thoughts out there or you're gonna behave a certain way or whatever the case, because look, you can always shut the fuck up. Or tell your friend and it don't have to leave the room. But if you get into the public, if you tell people that, or if you separate yourself from people, if you understand how humans work, there's something that comes with that. It's not going to be some shit you like, but it's just what it is, right? But at the same time, I do feel like the public should just be a little bit more accepting of these folks because we need them. We need them, including the ones that are not necessarily super smart and educated. We need these people, especially black culture. We need these people.
But it's now been 3 generations, 4.
I think
When are we going to be celebrated for being different?
I think the further we go into the future, the further we get from civil rights and Jim Crow and all this other stuff, you're going to have more black men like this.
What? No, it seems to be
think
going. We have conflicting views now. Interesting.
No,
Because
how? You think no, analog, I've been saying this so long.
Okay.
Analog thug must die. The thugs,
Okay.
the thugs, like the analog thugs, because we got digital thugs. But analog thug must die. Analog, you ask a woman, and there was actually somebody that did a video where they asked several women who would they rather date, the drug dealer or the scammer, and all of them said scammer. All of them. You have to have a certain level of geek about you to be a scammer. This is facts. Like, okay, here's the package, chop up the crack and sell it. Yeah, that's easy. Niggas want crack, you got crack. Okay.
I mean, but by the same token, how many videos do we see where the woman just wants the deviant rather than wanting the straight laced guy? We see that all the time. Alfonso,
right, we do.
It's 40 years later. Alfonso Ribeiro is still jeered.
Right, but Alfonso Ribeiro is our generation. We talking about the younger kids.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. True.
Mhm.
True.
Yeah, he's our generation. Gen X is still alive. Gen X motherfuckers are gonna clown him. People in Gen A are not clowning Alfonso Ribeiro if they even know who the fuck he is. Right?
I'm trying to think. Who is a young? Okay. What about Childish Gambino? He's a quasi rapper.
He's not that young,
but he's a little bit corny.
He's a lot corny.
Okay.
But what? How old is he?
I think he's in his 30s.
See, the thing about him is the thing about him is he was able to find his niche, find his woman. And I think that with somebody like him, I don't think that he's the guy that we were listening to earlier. I think he was able to grow into whatever he needed to grow into. Yeah, I think he's a little bit older than that. They say he's in his 40s.
42. I take it all back.
Right.
He turned 42 yesterday.
So he's like a millennial.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
He's a damn near a Gen Xer at 42.
Right. So again, he's somebody who he evolved. I don't think he's as bad as this kid we've been listening to. But my whole thing is black culture itself has to evolve to allow people to not just fit one cookie cutter idea of what black manhood is. And I think it will, because it has to, because shit is changing. And I almost forgot to say this. I think that this is how we got here. I think that the street dude somehow represents the field nigga in black culture, and the geek nerd represents the house nigga. I think that our culture looks at anyone that feels like they're closer to the establishment as a sellout. Does that make sense?
No, no.
So what do
no,
you think?
no,
I mean, nah. What do you think it is?
because if you really want to slice it up, all right. I know when we have these little geek boys, some people will say, well, you just hang out with white kids. But if we're talking about establishment, what it means to be normal, the geeks are never normal. They're never close to what would be considered normal or the establishment, right?
What is normal?
Normally, I mean, well, just think about the pecking order in high school or in college.
You talking
You
about
know,
black college or black high school, or what we talking about? Because normal is different depending on what we talking about. Culture changes what normal is.
I mean, I'm a city person, so I'm thinking about a mixed college. I went to a big college. I went to
Mhm.
a big town. Uh, I'm thinking about city where it's mixed, right? Your geeks weren't exactly the people who you would consider establishment. Sitting in the corner playing Dungeons and Dragons, dressing up for the Renaissance Festival that was upstate New York, right? Like all those geeky things. It wouldn't be considered establishment.
By
You would
who?
be considered the masses.
No. We're not talking about the masses. We're talking about black people.
No, but I'm more touching on the fact that you were saying that it's viewed as closer to the establishment. So like street dude would be more rebellious, and then geeky nigga would be closer to being close to the establishment. I would say the geeks would be further away from the establishment, because part of being a geek is about being different than what's status quo and not what is normally accepted.
Right. That's what it really means. But in black culture, it means something different. When you're a geek, right? Or like anything that's like into, like if you're into, because remember, black culture is pop culture, but a lot of black culture is street culture. If you're not into the streets, right, you're closer to the establishment because you're not in the streets. And I'm saying this from the standpoint of black culture, not like dominant culture. In dominant culture, weird, alternative and all of that. Yeah, okay. So we can look at white boys and say that their weird or their geek is the anti-establishment, because white by default is establishment, and anything that they do different from that is apart from establishment. But in black culture, anything that's not street is closer to establishment, right? So the way we look at it in black culture is, if you're not anti-establishment, you appear to be pro-establishment, right? The establishment's the plantation or the dominant culture. A lot of this geek nerd shit starts for black people to feel like white boy shit, right? So if you were into Star Wars and Star Trek and all this other shit to a degree that you were a geek about it, then it starts to feel like some white boy shit. And white boy shit by default to black culture is establishment, right? So you're acting like establishment. You're not one of us. They not like us, right? So that's when people start looking at you like you on that shit over there. You're trying to be like them. You're you suited up or whatever the case may be. Anything connected to that thing turns black people off because of what black culture is.
I,
It
I
is
fully
it is
agree. I capitulate to that. I fully agree. If you don't act a certain amount of street, you're ostracized.
well, let's discuss what street is, right? It's it's counter to white culture. It's anti-establishment, anti-authoritative, it's anti-police, it's anti everything that what the dominant culture is, right? So if you take it back to slavery,
Let's
if
just
you
keep it in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
right, well, all of
You,
that is derivative of that shit anyway. If you seem like you're riding with the plantation, or you come across as that, or you talk intellectually, or you know, talented 10th or one of these things, you come across as you're trying to have some sort of proximity to whiteness or to the establishment. And field Negroes, and this is why some people be calling the thug niggas what they call them, the warrior class, which is the dumbest shit in the world. But that's how black people see it. If you're in the streets, criminal behavior, criminal, at least posturing like a criminal, because a lot of niggas that dress a certain way are not criminals. Like, this is idea that if you are acting hood or you're dressing hood or whatever, then you're a thug. No, you could be thug adjacent, Pookie adjacent.
I
You
mean,
look
walks
the
like a
part,
duck.
but you ain't the part, right?
Walks like a duck, talks like a duck.
Nah, some people are faking the walk.
Wow.
Some people are faking the quack.
I'm gonna make sure we say that next time I see some 304s. Oh wait, no, I wouldn't. I would see somebody dressed as a 304. See, they're adjacent to a 304.
Right. Now,
That
of
would label
course,
them
if
304.
you wear the uniform, people will act accordingly.
Absolutely.
Right. So a lot of these guys are wearing the uniform. So what I'm saying is they're doing that to fit into the culture.
Because our culture rewards it. Yes.
Right, because our culture is the dominant culture in black culture, the street culture, street, fashion, street, everything, hip hop, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying to you is that comes from that.
From wanting
Because
to rebel.
yeah, it's like a rebellious thing, like fuck the police and all that shit, right? So that's it's just what we is. But again, the further into the future we go, hopefully, we get away from that.
See,
What I see,
this is where we were disagreeing before, because
okay,
I feel, especially now as the nuclear black family erodes and as tradition erodes, and we're having more single mother and baby mother households, and as we descend into this depravity that we are currently in, the fuckery, I see that we will reward the trifling nigga more. So if I'm looking around, I mean the culture.
nah,
I mean,
Mm,
when
okay,
I look at your average young lady, they're picking more knuckleheads than they did before. So if I'm a young boy like my nephews,
mhm.
and my nephews are looking at all the girls rewarding all the knuckleheads, but they're from a straight-laced black family, which way do you think they're starting to lean? They want
See,
to act like knuckleheads, even though
right,
we know they know better. Why are you doing this in school? Why are you acting out? Oh, he was. Then the teacher will even tell us, yeah, he was doing it in front of a bunch of girls. He was trying to impress the girls. Wild noble, young nigga, I see you want to get your shit off. You're trying to act and be more deviant than you would be,
so let me ask you this.
because that behavior is rewarded in
Mhm.
our culture. Now, if my nephew was somewhere else, say my nephew was in Flushing, that wouldn't be the case. he would be around all these cute little Korean girls, and he would be to impress them, he would have to get better grades. He would have to have this little side job and get some starch jeans or something like that. He would have to be straight laced and he'll be rewarded. He would be rewarded with sexual attention from being straight laced. But if he's around our culture, the girls are rewarding the knuckleheads. So more boys are going to start gravitating towards dressing and looking and acting like the knuckleheads as we go further into the future. That's what I think. We're rewarding the behavior. So I don't see it ending.
So let me respond to you.
Okay.
You don't see the complaining that these women are doing because these dudes are, as we move further into the future, you're gonna see, especially with the internet, and these women are saying all this wild shit on the internet. Oh, you gotta, pay a bill for me when we first start dating. And I'm talking about these women that you're talking about, the ones that will reward this thug behavior. Especially because as we move forward, you're seeing a lot of these women go further and further into like this 304, like everything's transactional, like diehard prostitute, like demeanor, right? These kids are gonna go elsewhere. It won't matter that these women are rewarding the behavior. Only the guys that they like, and that pool is gonna get smaller and smaller in the future. It is like what you're gonna have if you look at the stats of interracial, right? If you look at the stats of interracial guys that are either dating or marrying non-black women, that number's going up. It's slow, but it's going up.
I don't even think it's going up slowly if you look at major cities, but go ahead.
No, it's going up.
Yeah, it's going up.
So if that's the case, what you're gonna have is the offspring of those couples being further removed from that culture. Now, the people who are in those environments will remain what they are, but there will be, and the couples that I describe and their offspring, you're going to see more of that.
You think? No, I think you'd be just as susceptible if you live around. So if I raise my little half Middle Eastern, half black son, and because of where my job is, I have to have him in the Bronx, right?
Okay.
You don't think he's going to end up dating a bunch of, or trying to get sexual attention from Cardi B's?
As if he's interested in them.
Interesting.
So like, look, it depends on, because I know kids, I know young dudes in this generation, this new generation. They're not even like all this. I gotta date a woman that look like my mother shit. That shit is slowly fading out. I talk to these young dudes, bro.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
With you
So Dom says Gen Z is completely removed from the struggle. I remember me and you had this conversation. I said the further you are from slavery by generation, the more forward thinking your family is. And I also agree. I'm also say this: as we move forward into the newer generations, these kids will be more disconnected. I mean, we're seeing it with all of this like right wing shit. They're going to be further removed from the dysfunctional black shit as time goes by. Our worldview is what it is because we grew up in this generation. My uncle, who's a boomer, he has this, fist in the air, pro-black way of looking at things, and he will always have that because that, was what he grew up with, right? And I'm gonna get to win, lose, or rug. He said Marcus in LA, that's not a thing. So explain what you mean so I can respond to you. So what I'm saying is, as time moves forward, because black men are seeing all this like crazy wild shit on the internet. I've been saying, yo, bro, when I tell you I could drag my high school niggas in here and they will tell you that I have been saying this shit since I'm in high school. And I'm watching it happen. I'm watching it happen, bro. Because before the internet, I'm like, yo, these chicks is on it like this. No, nobody believes you. You're just mad, yada, yada, yada. You know, I'm the funny chud. Like I'm the guy who can move through, you know, whatever social circles at the time, but I'm still kind of like the outcast, especially when it came to the girls. But at the end of the day, what I'm telling you is, because of the internet, and these women are talking wild crazy, these kids, these young dudes are gonna respond to that. The thug dude is the minority. The thug dude is the minority. The thug dude that they actually like, it ain't enough of these niggas for these women. For these new generation women. It's not enough of them. So these women will hold out for that nigga. Because that's the nigga they want. They'll share that nigga. They'll share the little few niggas. But the rest of the guys who are, you know, not that guy will keep it moving. They'll go where they want it if they can get out of that space. Maybe they'll start there in these hoods trying to chase these women, and they'll eventually say, you know what, fuck these women. I'm going to date someone else or date someone that is cooperative.
That sounds nice in theory, right?
I'm not saying it'll happen tomorrow, but I'm saying that
I don't even think it'll happen eventually, because I really do think that to get these type of forward thinking, what do we call ourselves? Forward thinking black men, sane thinking black men, whatever we want to call ourselves. I kind of feel you got to be in an area where, like, you see that in your family, right? If you see, so like if my brother, for example, he has only seen fuckery, right? Growing up in his household, he only saw fuckery. So he thinks that's the way you're supposed to interact with women. You're supposed to get the woman who's combative. You're supposed to get the woman who's, you know, always going to yell at you. And he thinks that is what love is. Oh, I like him spicy. Whereas me, I got to see my father interact with, you know, my mother, and then my father interact with his second wife, and it was peaceful, it was loving. So then I feel that's the way a household's supposed to go. All that to say, if these niggas are growing up in places being raised by single and divorced mothers, they're not going to grow up and all of a sudden say, oh, well, I want to be responsible. No, they're going to get into the same fuckery, and then this shit is just going to grow more.
That's not necessarily true. A lot of guys in the space. Okay. Are we gonna listen? Are we gonna pretend like a lot of guys in the space who are red pill, or at least pretend to be, right, grew up in a house with two parents?
No, most of us. Okay. You're right. Most of us had divorced parents, at least.
Right, divorced parents or parents that were never married. Right,
and we had to arrive, but we had to arrive here through
trial and error. So you're saying that, listen, a lot of the pressure that comes with being from our generation comes from this fake ass pro-black shit. What I'm saying is, as the years progress, there will be less of that red, black, and green shit, right? And these kids they're not really subscribing to that idea. So even if they're from that, right, their interactions with women, you're going to have some that are still subscribed to that, but you're going to have others who, because of their interactions with women, because they can't find a black woman they're attracted to, okay, the fucking obesity rate is out off the meters, right? Do you think as we move forward and black men become more successful and start to make more money and things of that nature, that they're going to still fall back on the Lizzos and the Moniques and shit?
Definitely not.
Of course not. The culture is not going to dictate that much into these guys' lives, at least later on. Maybe not in the beginning, because when you're in high school, the bitches ain't get fat yet. I'm gonna just keep it the fuck real. They didn't get fat yet. They not in the clubs and the restaurants every week taking pictures of their fucking food. So by the time they gain all this weight, from hitting the clubs and the restaurants damn near every weekend. Those women will become unattractive to these young boys. They will. And ain't enough culture that's gonna make a motherfucker forget what he's attracted to. It's not. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a slow moving train. Right? You got, I mean, all of y'all New Yorkers, hear me out. Remember back in the day we grew up with the Habibi store with the malt liquor and all that? What New York look like now? Every fucking corner store is some vegan shit. Am I lying? Where my New York is at? Every damn near every shit that used to be a bodega. Now these motherfuckers will make you a tuna fish sandwich on pumpernickel bread. And you can get protein shake and you know all of that shit in the corner store now. I was in Harlem a couple months ago. And this shit is real. Cam, you know what I'm talking about. So this is what I'm saying. Like, look, black men are the most fit behind Asian men in America. This is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Black men and black women have nothing in common in terms of, you know, their body type. Like,
you went there.
Of course, I'm gonna go where Ace Metaphor won't, but it's true. It's true. So black men will have to go interracial to meet their equals. Cam, I'm sorry, but it's a fact.
Oh,
it's a fact.
Marcus, are you trying to say that all these protein shakes being sold in all these bodegas are not for Keisha?
Oh, Keisha can have it if she wants to buy it, but she's not going to.
She's not. It's usually one of us.
Keisha, let me tell you what Keisha's
one of
doing.
us.
Let me tell you what Keisha's doing. Keisha's sitting somewhere with a glass of wine this fucking big, sipping it, thinking that she's so fucking, you know, elegant and extravagant because she's sipping wine. I'm sipping my wine, right? That's the shit they're into.
But I could also point this out, that the reason why you have such a huge movement of black men for being fit, for playing basketball, and hey, even in the city, you know how many times I pass young groups of men, young and old, all together with the construction gloves on and the gray sweatpants, and what are they doing? Doing pull-ups on on scaffolding around the city, doing dips, the calisthenic bros, right? You see those all over the city. We see those in the suburbs. We see them everywhere now because it's become a culture. But then you think about it. Why did it become a culture? Because black women will be the first person to say, not even black women, I'll just say the culture, that they want a bearded guy with muscles and a wife beater and gray sweatpants. It's not exactly the gray sweatpants that they want. It's the type of guy that will do the calisthenics and be in shape. So this culture rewards in shape men wifing up fat women.
No, that's what the culture rewards.
Yes.
Niggas are not gonna, I'm telling you, as time goes by, niggas are gonna give a less than a fuck about the culture. I understand this, bro. I'm telling you, I'm talking to these kids. As we get further away from KRS-One, X-Clan, and all that leather medallion, the black African medallion shit. Remember all this shit, cross colors and Carl Kanai and all. As we get further away from this, the sad thing is this, right? And I'm gonna say some really grim shit, y'all. As we get further away from that, we're gonna have more of this shit, like what feels like coon shit, because you're gonna have more black men rejecting what we know as black culture. Because black culture is not ours, it belongs to the women. We know this. Black culture belongs to the women. At least the dysfunctional black culture, it belongs to the women. And what's happening is, because again, black men are becoming, more successful. That, like they like to think, people want to make, everybody believe that, is a bunch of women with money making all 6 figures and a bunch of broke niggas. And that's not the truth. So black men's standards are going up. Their standards are going up. And what used to rock before ain't gonna rock no more. It's a slow thing, but it's happening. Now, what black women try to do is they'll try to remove, Nameless, if you want to come up, I'll bring you up. They'll try to remove a nigga from their son's life so that she can kind of groom the next generation of men to be the new simp niggas. Right? But eventually, what'll happen is you'll slowly have a growing group of men that is going to reject this dysfunctional shit. Slowly but surely. I can't tell you how long that's going to be, but it's slowly but surely. Right? But at the end of the day, let me drop the link for Nameless. What I'm saying is, soon it's not going to matter what the culture rewards, because as black men become successful, then they become attractive to other races of women because their options are open up. They don't have to be stuck with, these big chicks. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what eventually goes down. So they move on. And then you got all these angry women trying to shame niggas back into fucking with them, and it won't work. It's not gonna work. Slowly but surely, this happens. Let me drop this motherfucker down. Slowly but surely, this happens. I ain't put the link up. Slowly but surely, this happens. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see slowly, because if you look at interracial marriage from 1980 to now, I could pull it up. You'll see the numbers. I could pull it up right now, bro. And I'm talking about black men and non-black. I don't care what race. We tend to talk about interracial with white women. We tend to say that, but it's not just about white women.
Yeah, no, you're right. I am starting to notice. You will see a lot of young brothers who will split the baby, so they won't be with Keisha, but they'll be with somebody who's black, right? Whether it be one of these Nigerian girls or a Afro Latina. I'm seeing that a little bit more. Even some of these celebrities who will say, well, like, Umar, go out and have a baby with a Haitian girl, but then go, sisters, I'm down for sisters. But wait, you picked an island girl. Well, they're from the diaspora. Yeah, but you left somebody who was like your mother to be with somebody from another country. Yeah. No. It's the same. I wonder if we could ever pull up stats on that. Like how many young black men who don't want to be criticized for not being down or being cool will go out and get somebody who's black-ish. Black, but not our black.
What do you mean?
Well, just what I said. Like how like I'll use myself for an example. I was with an Italian woman and heard all the jeers and hate and how I'm not down. So I went out and married a from Africa via France African woman. And
Well,
then she wasn't like
right.
Keisha. She wasn't like all the girls who were like, mean to me in college. No. She was different. Hell, she wasn't even like the white girls. She wasn't even like the white girls that I went to college with. Right? She wasn't even like the Madonna types. My ex-wife was, straight laced, square, traditional African woman. So I got the advantage of her looking black, but I didn't have to put up with the cultural differences and bad parts of the women in our culture. I wonder how many men do that. Because still, I'm on the books for being married to a black woman, but I didn't marry Keisha, and I didn't marry any of these white girls that grew up, you know, in the culture. I wouldn't be with a Iggy Azalea. See what I'm saying?
So you see, I got you. You see what I got on the screen here?
Ooh, let me pull up the screen.
It's not up.
I alt tabbed. I alt tabbed.
Can you see what I have up?
No, I cannot see what you have up. Sorry.
Does anybody see what I have up? I mean, it's like on the screen.
Oh, statistics on interracial. Sorry, there's a lag. I'm in back.
Yeah,
Statistics on interracial marriages involve black men show a rise in interracial rates, particularly among white women. Though the vast majority of black men still marry within their race, these relationships are influenced by socioeconomic factors, historical context, and gender differences. According to Pew Research, data on newlyweds from 2015, interracial marriage has increased dramatically among black individuals who share marrying outside their race more than a tipping point between 1980, 5%, and 2015, 18%. God damn!
trying to tell you, bro. And we know this is men. I mean, you know, you got black women that marry interracially. You know, I mean, shit, they kind of set it off. See, black women can't complain about interracial. Y'all were the first to do it.
Loving versus Virginia.
Right. You fought for the right. Right. So see, it's never fun when a nigga get the option. The problem is what makes black women unattractive to some black men is what makes them unattractive to everybody else.
All men.
See, the thing is, black men put up with black women's flaws. We put up with it. We're the only group that will do it.
Why?
Because what you said, black is, you know, we've been raised culturally, blah, 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 blah. But all of that is slowly eroding. It's eroding away. It's dying. And part of it is because time going by and we're getting away from all the, you know, the civil rights thing and all of the things that made black people, you know, oh, we're black people and we're pro-black and we're together and, you know, blackity black and Egypt and Hotep and all that shit. All that, this generation, that energy is going to die with every generation slowly.
Okay.
In a way, you know, we got people that are part of our generation like, no, we got to hold on to it. No, let it die. I'm with it dying. Let me tell you why I'm with it dying. Because there's too much dysfunction to hold on to. Marcus, you want to watch it burn. It's burning. You can't save it. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done, conservative. It's done. Okay? It's done. It's over. What are you trying to save? Fried chicken? Hog maw? Chitlins? What are you trying to save? We're still going to have the music. We're still going to have all these things. But what are you trying to save? Black women have steered black culture into an iceberg. They have. You have. You steered black culture into an iceberg. And what's the problem is now, niggas are like, nah, not anymore. Not anymore.
I feel like we need to go out and talk to more of these young black men. We need more young. I really want to know what they're thinking.
You know what? This is what I might do. Because I got the setup in the other room, the interviews. I'm bringing some little motherfuckers in here. We're going to have a conversation. I already know a kid out here. We're going to have a conversation because I talked to him about the shit already. They're not really pressed about that keep it black shit. They're not really pressed about it. It costs too much. You get on the internet, black women are talking the most shit about what they want from a nigga. They want all this shit and they bring all this drama. And, you know, well, why don't you find you a white woman? Nigga be like, okay. Oh, you went and found a white woman. Like, bitch, you told me to go find a white woman.
Mm.
You told me to do it because you wouldn't act right. We watch Julio with his woman. Everybody else seemed to be getting along, at least from the outside looking in. And everybody's looking at us. They got motherfuckers going to colleges making speeches about how black relationships roll. I'm telling you, slowly but surely, if you give black men more shit, they're going to start making more demands of black women that black women are not going to want to meet. Because their mom and their grandmama told them not to.
You don't think over time that it would shift back? No? You think the culture will just be done before they shift back?
Yeah. I do. I do. Because black women are really being groomed not to respect niggas. I don't see any group of women on the internet, not even in a small movement of black women saying they're going to teach their daughters to be wives to black men. We are really off topic, by the way.
No. We're talking about we got here. Remember how we got here? We got here because I was saying that there's going to be less and less nerdy black men because we're rewarding deviant behavior by the attention that the women give.
Yeah, but they're not the only women. And that's the thing the thing that you're overlooking is that once black men's options open, it doesn't matter what these women are doing. Doesn't matter. You think Keisha matters to the motherfucker that's at the ball with the bad, like, exotic bitches? No, it doesn't matter. Oh, I'll reward you. You think Lizzo is going to influence a motherfucker that making 6 figures or close to 6 figures because she's rewarding some thug shit? You got your reward has to be enticing. Whatever you're rewarded a nigga with got to be something a nigga want. It got to be something a nigga want. You think the obesity rate is going to go down from here? Hey, can somebody tell me? Is the obesity rate going to fall?
Not with as few women as I met in Atlanta who couldn't cook. Right?
You think? Look. How about this? Do you think? Let's say, because all these athletic niggas and these big chicks, do you think if the big girls start acting right? Let's say they start acting right. Let's say, you know what? Oh, these niggas is going to other bitches. Let's start acting right. Okay. You got to do more than just start acting right. You know what kind of shift black women will have to do to bring niggas back to the table?
I'm the wrong person to give that to.
I'm saying, is Nameless in here? Nameless, I dropped the link. Where you at? What I'm saying is that thanks, no placeholder dropped the super stick. I appreciate you, bro. Let me see who else dropped some shit. Am I skipping some shit? Let me make sure I ain't skipping no super chats. Now I got them all. What I'm saying is what you're selling, what you're rewarding has to be more enticing than what we are being offered. Right? You have to, a nigga got options. You got to hit him with more than shame. You got to hit him with more than shame. You get on Instagram, you see a bunch of bad Asian bitches, bad Middle Eastern bitches, bad Indian bitches, bad everything else. And then you see, I do my head toss, check my nails. Do you know this song? Do you know this song?
She got
Do you
ass,
know that
though.
song?
Huh?
Huh?
She got ass, though.
Who got ass?
She got ass, though.
Niggas will fuck around, but they're not marrying. I'm telling you. The pressure, the cultural pressure is going to fall. It's going to fall. Okay, let's see where Romello, where the fuck you been at? Haven't been here for many moons. What's popping? Marcus isn't lying, especially when I, a regular man, and having Indian and Asian women throwing choosing signal. I'm telling you, bro. What's that chick, Sadia Philosophy, right? That just got busted for being, a hoe, essentially.
Hey, she's giving it up to one man.
Hey,
Props
look,
to her.
I'm not mad at her. Look, what I'm saying is,
But
you
she
got
looks the
chicks.
part.
If niggas got chicks like this on them, and Romello, you've been going for a minute, bro. Welcome back. I'm saying you got chicks like that jumping up in niggas' faces. I'm just saying.
I did tell you guys behind the scenes what happened when I went to an Indian party. I had a group of girls who were of marriage age, and they said, "How do we meet black guys like you?" And I was telling them, "Oh, there are black men everywhere." They're like, "No, no, 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 black men like you." So around a 3-hour conversation, I had them saying that they wanted to meet the normal non-thug black man,
Right,
but they preferred the black American man over their own men.
right,
And most of it is what you say, because black men are amenable. It had nothing to do with, oh, they saw some porn and they think black men have big. No, 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 no. They're like, yo, you guys are nice and you cool and you cook.
because
Like,
we're not patriarchal.
we're not
As much as these women want to talk about, oh, you black patriarchal oppressive niggas. Like we missed it from The Color Purple. We're not patriarchal, and these women from these other places, especially compared to their men,
Yes.
their men is like, bitch, I told you,
Oh,
go and cook the baklava.
oh my God.
I slap the shit out of you.
I
I
told
slap you.
I didn't say this online, but I told you when the first time me and my woman got together at her place and I chopped the onions and I did the dishes, she cried. She cried. She like those little weepy happy tears. But
Who?
she was
Your woman as you with now.
the Indian woman who I was dating before. She
Okay.
cried. Yeah, she cried. She cried. She cried because she had never seen anything like that. And the fact that there are men out there that would do that, namely us, because I mean that ain't nothing for us to get in the kitchen. Every nigga cooks. Yo, mama made sure you knew how to cook. But in other cultures, that's not the case. So when other women from other countries come here and other cultures come here and they see there's a race of men who are cool, laid back, easygoing, and yeah, they'll help you with some dishes. That becomes very appealing. That's why we can cross over. Cook that butter chicken. You know what? Yes, the butter chicken. And guess what? You'll still get curly haired little brown skinned babies when you get with an Indian woman.
So look, I'm gonna rotate it, right? But I'm gonna say this,
I
right? I'm gonna say this, right? It's the same as when I went to DR and I went to see one of my people who got a bunch of liquor stores in New York City, and his woman down there, she made us breakfast. She served us, and after she served us, she didn't even sit down at the table. She went and sat on the couch and started reading a book. She didn't go even to sit over there to eat, but she went to sit to read. And then once we were done eating, she put her book down, came and got the plates, took them. We left. Then she made her plate and we left her there. Right. So I got Nameless up here and I got Dom looking like a teenager in this motherfucker. You see this motherfucker, bro?
Wow.
Yo.
I'd get on camera if I look like that.
You see this guy, man?
Wow.
So look, I'm gonna start off with Nameless, man. Nameless, what's going on, man? Kick the bars, man. We got the beat playing. I know you're gonna drop them bars. Go ahead, man. Do your thing.
What's going on with you, man? To the chat and the folks on the panel. Man, I don't know where to start, man. First, I wanna co-sign aggressively on some of the earlier points you had mentioned that the black community is getting the men it was asking for. So when it comes to the supply and demand of the so-called Pookie that the brother was talking about earlier, not only is that becoming more of a surface option. So in other words, people have learned to adopt the veneer of that whole visage. That people who are really on that type of time, they're getting more scarce. And the option of polygamy is being explored almost aggressively. And whether they realize they're doing it voluntarily or vicariously, that's the natural direction that's shifting towards. Number two, I think I said it in the chat earlier. Fam, for anybody that's about 35 and younger, especially the closer you get to 18, dating has a political component attached to it now. And it's almost split right in half by gender. You've got the overwhelming majority of women going hard left, and it's not even a question. And most men, it isn't that they're going hard right. They're just moderate. And there's kind of like, God, what's a phenomenon like that? It's like trying to strike fire. You know how you can get close to fire, but if you don't reach a certain threshold, the tinder won't burn? It's like that being on the political left. There's a certain level of threshold you have to meet in order to qualify as left now. It's kind of like a purity test. And if you don't meet those standards, you're instantly reclassified as being non-left, to the point where you're some degree of right. And it's showing in the dating patterns. It's showing in the general conversation. And that's a big reason why we saw the pro-black movement fall apart and Hotepism begin to fall apart. One of the mechanisms that really was instrumental in that, and you can see it through the Sonetosphere, you could see it happen with the fall or the rise of documentary based pro-blackness. So, you know, the Professor Black Truth era and all of that. The divide began to show itself around there. When they began insisting on writing everything that got stacked onto Title VII, that's when you start seeing all of this begin to fracture and fall apart, because it stopped being about black liberation under an idea of black people and it turned into female liberation. So unless you co-sign on the female liberation part with very specific standards affiliated with it, then you're some de facto sellout or ism or some sort of negative proponent related to fascism. And I want to support that point so you can see where it's coming from. Marcus, are you able to pull up Google like you did earlier? If you're talking, I can't hear you.
My mic was off. My mic was off.
Okay, cool. We got you now.
Yeah. So go ahead. What you want me to type in?
So I want to show you where this came first. And excuse me for slightly digressing the point, but I think this is good information for us to be aware of. Put in Frederick Douglass.
Hold on 1 second. Click over here.
15th Amendment debate. And rebuttal against suffragists. And I want you to see where all of this crap started from.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with it. Let's see here. Did that go in the way that I wanted to do? Because I typed in everything you said, but now it just get on.
Sometimes the AI prompt will give it to you. And again, excuse the digression, but I think it's going to really build the point and give you guys receipts in the future.
All right.
I was always under the assumption that we got the right to vote because we decided to go to war.
It'll get to that.
Okay.
Do you got it pulled up on your screen? Oh yeah, he's gonna pull it up. Cool.
All right. So let me full screen this. And there we go. So this is the AI overview. So is there a particular link you want me to click, or you just want to do this overview? What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's hit the overview, and I really want to highlight what Elizabeth Catton pretty much says in response to that.
You want me to read this? So,
I got
so
you. Go ahead,
okay.
go ahead, Marcus.
All right. Frederick Douglass advocated for the 15th Amendment during the post-Civil War debate because he believed black men's right to vote was a more urgent and critical need, citing the violence and discrimination they face. While he had always been a supporter of women's suffrage, his pragmatic approach in this debate prioritized securing enfranchisement for African Americans, even if it meant temporarily setting aside women's suffrage. Uh-oh. Whoa. Okay. This stance created a significant rift in the women's suffrage movement, leading to a debate within the American Equal Rights Association and a split between those who supported the amendment and those like Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony, who refused to endorse any measure that did not include, I'm familiar with this, include women's suffrage. Douglas's position on the 15th Amendment, urgency for black men. Douglas emphasized that black men's suffrage was a matter of survival and safety, especially given the persuasive lynching and racial violence during Reconstruction. Pragmatic approach. He believed that attempting to include women's suffrage in the same amendment would jeopardize both causes. Yeah. And he chose to pursue black male suffrage as first as an essential step towards true citizenship and equality. Commitment to women's rights. Despite prioritizing black male suffrage, Douglas did not abandon women's rights. He promised to continue fighting for it after the 15th Amendment was passed.
Now, let me pause you here.
Right.
What's important with that is the rebuttals these women gave Douglas as a result of that. And I didn't understand why this man still kept working with them after that. But they pretty much said, if the loaf of suffrage cannot be shared with all peoples, let it be shared with the educated white woman and not the Sambo. And I want to highlight that point. They were so upset about that they branched off and started the modern suffragist movement, which would eventually become feminism.
Right.
And I want to highlight that because this started because of us. They were upset we were getting the vote before them.
Yeah.
So I want to highlight one more piece to that point. Go back to the search engine and put in Howard Smith, poison pill.
You said poison pill?
Yep.
Title
7.
Oh, Title 7?
Yeah, Title 7.
Okay.
Now, I wonder why it's doing that. Yeah, put that in AI instead if you got the AI prompt, or is AI not letting you do it?
Well, hold on. Let me see if I can select that and then go to AI mode and paste it in there. Let's see. Okay, let me get this the right size. So, okay, so the phrase Howard Smith poison pill Title 7 refers to a legislative tactic used in 1964 during the debate over the Civil Rights Act. Congressman Howard W. Smith, a segregationist from Virginia, introduced an amendment to add sex to Title 7 of the bill, intending to make the entire legislation so controversial that it would fail.
Okay, let me give you some context real quick. So what this is the actual Civil Rights Act that most people understand King and everybody else were marching for in the 60s. So we got to understand that prior to that, it was all about being upset that Jim Crow didn't follow through with its promise of separate but equal. It did the separate part, but it didn't do the equal part. So they marched, everybody did the thing. We saw the dogs and the fire hoses. revisionist history will tell you that black men were on some muhaha time and just wanted to hog the spotlight and wanted to get shot first and all of that, because, you know, that's the masculine thing to do. And, you know, we hate women because, you know, that's allegedly what that means. But long story short, we went through all of that. They brought it to the 11th hour. You know how when you're watching these bills get presented in Congress and they'll go back and revise it and add bullshit to it and be like, well, we'll do this if, you know, you put this provision for this ceiling vacuum legislation like that. Okay. Like, it's got nothing to do with this. That's exactly what they tried to do with the Civil Rights Bill. So originally Title VII was written to protect the rights of individuals to where you couldn't be discriminated against because of your race or your color. Right. And that's important because that is what gave an understanding and a continuation of the civil rights legislation that happened after the Civil War. That's where all of this came from. Whole reason why we got Jim Crows, because they reneged on their offer to follow through with what they promised after the Civil War. They withdrew federal troops and they said, let the states decide how they're going to enforce those new laws with civil rights. This was a pushback to say, no, the states aren't allowed to do it. This is federal. You can't discriminate. So this Title VII was defining who this was going to apply to. Right. Now we cut back into why this Howard Smith dude would want to add sex in the 11th hour to tank it. And that's important here because what ends up happening, scroll down a little bit, you start to see then that this was originally going to fail. But then you had, I think they mentioned her name. Is it Margaret Griffith? Go down. They may talk about her. Keep going a little bit more. Margaret, is it Margaret Chase? No, it was Margaret Griffith or something like that. She got receipts. She's in black and white pretty much saying nope, there it is right there. Representative Martha Griffiths. Go ahead to YouTube if you can. Type her name and put in Title VII admission. Basically, the way it was written, if they didn't mess with that and add sex to Title VII, black women would have potentially had more rights than white women, which is mirroring the same problem they had with black men getting the right to vote before them. So when we talk about this idea of decentering, of centering and the arguments that feminism has made, how we get pro-blackness and why black men suddenly start disappearing after 1964 from the conversation and tying into everything you're saying, the idea that came from all of this was black men somehow were keeping black women from any of this, when all throughout these situations, it's been white women that have been upset and worried about what black men were going to get, and in turn, black people.
Right. Now, I didn't know all these details that you're outlining. I was familiar with this being the issue.
Important changes that have taken place in respect to the status of women since you've been in Congress.
Well, I think perhaps most important was the one that added sex to the bill of 1964. This bill was drafted really to help Negroes. Now, it wasn't clear. It would have meant that Negro women would have been given rights that were not available to white women. Therefore, we added sex. It is my belief that the drafters had assumed that no women would get any rights. So that I think both white and black women were helped by the bill.
And that's how we got screwed. And everything you see that they've done on the political left has been animated by this idea of stacking on top of that. There's a lot more to it than just that. But these are all creating the landscape as to what killed pro-blackness, why men became invisible in politics, and why there's such a sharp line of divide right now in politics as it relates to women, and black women in particular are unilaterally across the board on the left. More so than any other demographic of women, period.
Well, so sorry, I want to ask a question. So you think it would go that far back to before our parents were even adults? Or would you think the current landscape would be why women, especially black women, are going further to the left? Because the way I see it is this: the less traditional and family oriented you're going to be, the more you're going to want radical ideas that are liberal. The more family like you want to be and traditional you want to be, the more you're going to be conservative and perhaps vote Republican. So, like all these Asian girls out here, forget about how they vote. Let's just see their social conscience. They're more traditional.
Let me interject one single point and show you why that's not happening.
Okay.
Marcus, go back to Google.
All right. I just want to throw in. We got somebody else waiting to speak. So
my fault, fam.
No. We're gonna do this, but then I just wanted y'all to keep that in mind. Leon Henny King says Marthea Griffith is crazier and direct the Hillary, or more direct than Hillary. I don't know if this is a direct than Hillary. Okay. More is crazier and direct than Hillary. Okay, I see you. All right, man. Thank you for the super chat. So let me bring will you want the video or you want the Google?
Give me Google.
All right, so give me a second.
And you guys keep this for your archives as well, because that's very important.
Yeah, again, I was, these names I wasn't familiar with. I was always familiar with the issue that happened between, black men getting the vote and, the suffrage movement. That I was aware of. Let me bring this up again. Okay. So
we're going to go to Frankfurt School.
Oh, okay. Hold on 1 second. Let me go back. Go to all.
Frankfurt School. I think it's with a U. Frankfurt. Yeah. Then authoritarian.
Authoritarianism?
Authoritarian personality. And then F scale. Do it in the AI because I think it'll do better. It should have 9 different characteristics on F scale. Oh, it shortened it. Yeah, put F scale on there as well. That's important.
Okay, yeah, totally different when you put on F scale.
Yeah, F scale needs to be on there because that's what we're talking about.
Sex, projectivity, power, and toughness.
Now, I want you to understand that these things are what's being taught in school by default. Anybody that's going to school or being taught in the public education system, these courses, these classes, these concepts are being taught as a de facto means of sociology. So if you've heard these terms before, that's where they're coming from. But this is going to sound very familiar once you start going down what they classify as being on the F scale. And again, this is derived from taking aspects of Freudian psychology and essentially pathologizing anybody that demonstrates these traits. And they pretty much describe anybody that's not on a left ideology as they've defined it at all, which that's why this is too hard to escape, fam. When you've got people who are being inundated with this as a lens for reality, you can't escape this showing up in your dating relationships because the idea of family is targeted from the get-go, and it pathologizes anything that produces something stable and nuclear in nature as a pathological pathway to authoritarianism.
So what are we looking for here?
It's supposed to be giving you 9 characteristics. It's interesting that it's not. Maybe, let me see. That's the book it comes from, and that's the school that created it, and it's brought into the general sociological and political agenda that's taught in schools. See if you can hit that link that says F stands for fascist right there. It may link.
Yeah, I'm looking at an F scale test where pretty much everything I would answer as yes, when
Yeah,
you
you're
plug in
pinging.
when you plug in the results, like I'm a bad person.
Yeah, yeah. So I tell you what, I'll just read it from this list then, and because that's the basic information anybody can go to and look it
All
up.
right.
I'll just go ahead and read it from here. But
before
go
you
ahead,
start,
Fran.
let me catch up with these super chats. Benefiting both black women and white women was the ultimate lie. That's no placeholder. Thank you for the super chat. And Romello says, I would like to add the gender gang banging has been in the forefront since the 70s. What we going through today isn't new. Yeah, definitely. All right. So yeah, go ahead. Are we done with this screen, or should I
Yeah,
try
we can drop that if you want, now that you know where it's from. Or you can look down and see if the Wikipedia article says anything about it. It may. F scale, explain psychological.
Damn, I'm a terrible person according to the F scale.
Yeah, let them tell it. Okay, I think those are the nine points. Yeah. Yep. There it is right there.
All right.
Let me just go ahead and read them off of that then. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So let me drop down this comment there. Thank you, Mr. Romello. All right. Conventionalism, a rigid adherence to the conventional middle class values. 2, authoritarian submission, submissive, uncritical attitudes toward authority figures of the in group. All right. Authoritarian aggression, the tendency to condemn, reject, and punish those who violate conventional values. Okay. Anti-interception, opposition to subjectivity, imagination, and emotional experience. 5, superstition and stereotype. How do you pronounce that? Stereotypy. All right. Belief in fate and a tendency to think in rigid, stereotypical categories. Power and toughness, preoccupation with dominance and strength, identification with powerful figures. 7 is destructiveness and cynicism, a generalized hostility and a vilification of human nature. Projectivity, the tendency to project one's own impulses and fears onto the outside world, seeing it as dangerous. So these are the things that make you a fascist, correct?
Allegedly, yeah. That is the standard.
So sex, an exaggerated concern with sex and an uncritical approach to modern sex practices.
Are you seeing the pattern?
I'm seeing the pattern.
Are you a decent person? You're a fascist. I'll say it. I'll be the asshole.
I just want you to know that's what's being played in the background. And ever since social media has come out, these things are considered standard understanding, and they're a part of the critical theory package in general.
Go ahead. No, all I was going to say is the way I see this, right? Let me see. Authoritarian, submissive, uncritical attitudes towards authority and fit. I'm going to tell you this. If played to an extreme degree, these can be bad.
No, Marcus, you're supposed to say these are good. This is part of the culture. You don't like the community. You sell out. Go get your white woman.
You being hyperbolic.
No, I get it. And what I'm saying is, like, okay, so if this is what it means to be a fascist, according to these people, or to these women, maybe, I don't know. According to these people, what I will say is, I think that there should be a healthy amount of these things. Is what I'm saying make sense? Making sense?
It does.
Right. I think that these things that they're saying is connected to fascism. I think they're necessary to a degree, but not to an extreme degree. And I think that what they might, from their point of view, any of these things, like any amount of these things might be extreme to them. Does that make sense?
Of course.
So, right. So Yeah, because like uncritical attitudes towards authority figures and of the in group, something like that, right? Authoritarian submission, right? I think to an extreme degree that can be bad, but to an opposite extreme it can be bad, right?
Well, the way that plays out is they take that authoritarian submission and the idea of uncritical attitude towards authority figures ends up being an argument against hierarchies in general.
Right.
So when you try to establish any order, even if it's from a position of healthy protection, like we saw during the civil rights movement, we don't want to center women because who puts women out in the front to get shot at, right? That gets reinterpreted and reverse engineered as, oh, well, you didn't want to center women because you've got this authoritarian modality where you've got to be the one in charge. And anybody that, you know, is put up there as the big masculine man, that's why you want to do that. I'm showing you, if you've heard these arguments before, this is where they got their training in all of this.
Right. So yeah, this is some wild shit right here. I'm gonna bring in Dom real quick.
Yeah,
he's been chilling for a minute. Let me get back to Mike Ferguson says you know, Marcus is a fascist. I was about to say, you know, on some funny shit, I was about to say a phrase that would get my channel taken down immediately.
No.
I'm not gonna say it.
I know exactly what you're gonna say.
No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
I'm gonna hang up right now.
I'm not gonna do it. Oh, it was on the tip of my tongue right there. It was right there. It's 2 words. You know what?
No.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Man, shout out to Kanye, man. God damn.
Oh yes. I'ma chill. All right. I'ma chill. All right, Dom, what's going on, bro? I'm about to get my Myron on. Well, yo, Dom, what's good, bro?
Yeah, what's good, Marcus? I mean, I'm just sitting back here, just taking the back of what the nameless protagonist, I think that was his name, where he was giving a lot of great information. I want to shout him out for all that again, because looking at the Black Exile, and I saw the video you shared with me earlier this week with that, I forgot the guy's channel name, where he talked about how he got picked on and nobody dated him. You know, he had a lot of atrocities that happened in his life. But I looked at the comment section of his video, and I looked at Young Dro or Young Jock, wherever his name is, the gentleman who responded back to their comment sections. And I told people, a lot of people have those experiences. For those that have been around 2.0, and I don't want to mention names, but I'll just say there's a content creator that talked about the prom story. And I know you guys know who I'm talking about.
You said the prom story?
Yeah, the 4 homely sisters. The women he wanted to go to the prom with didn't want to go with him. So his family set him up with the 4 homely sisters. And he didn't want to go with none of those ugly women. And that story, and it's Obsidian, y'all. Obsidian said the story years ago about his prom. And Obsidian admitted he didn't go to prom. He said, the women I wanted didn't want me. So my family took it upon themselves to find me 4 ugly bitches. And I said, I didn't want to go with those women. And it created a big rift. And this love or hate Obsidian, even when you look at that story on the surface, so many guys have gone through that, whether it's high school, whether it's college, just for being different. This is the conversation we had in the chat today, where what the nameless protagonist mentioned, if you are against the grain in college, and I went to college in the early 2000s, it was so indoctrination where thinking the way how we think now and how we're able to connect this on red pill stuff and how we get attacked now, it was worse back in the 2000s. The stuff we used to print in the student newspaper, how they tried to counsel us, suspend us. I can tell y'all some stories. I mean, it was worse back then than it is now. And I tell people, you think that's bad, go back to the 90s. So people say, okay, fuck this. And I bring this to a close. We're saying, when I look at the Exile, When you demonize men, you can't get mad when men are checking out. What is happening with the white boys started with us. We got exiled from our own communities. The white boys feel they're exiled from their own country. They don't want to go fight in the wars no more. They don't want to join the police departments no more. They don't want to do it. They said, no, what? Fuck it. Let it burn. Y'all say we bad. We cause all these problems. Put your own fires out. Run your own jails. Do your own, fight your own wars. So we're going to address this not only from the black male perspective, but we're going to address this from the male perspective altogether. Because when we say men are on strike, but men don't have the luxury of the mainstream media to where when women are on strike, that's liberation. Go down. They are standing up against the patriarchy. They're coming against fascism. They are putting us in check. But when we do it, we're spoiled, we're entitled, we're toxic, we're narcissists. Notice how they kind of take the same things we're doing, but it's bad over there. Women came up with 4B. Remember, we heard that last year. That's real big overseas. But 4B, when you read that, that was nothing but MGTOW. That was some of the stuff that the MGTOW guys were talking about since the 90s. So we're going to have to address the male exile. And it's only going to get worse before it gets better, if it gets better at all. Because I know people say, well, if we voted for Trump, Trump's going to bring the women to heel. He's going to check them. Look at him, Dominique. He done cut the DEI. He done cut those grants with Doge. He done did this and he's throwing out the illegal immigrants. So, and all this type of stuff. But the women told us 10 years ago, because I don't forget nothing. They are doubling down. They don't want you. Even though Trump is divorcing them from the government, they have said they'd rather be homeless. They'd rather do OnlyFans. They'd rather sell ass on the street. They'd rather commit credit card fraud, PPP fraud, than get with you. So how can you overcome that when they want to do all that before they will come in? Because everybody says winter is coming and society's going to crash and the women are going to come in. And I told people, I said, all the guys said they're going to be Jim Dandy to the rescue, chopping the firewood and making the bed some soup. And I go ahead and open the floor.
Let me do this super chat real quick. I'll say Gregory Scotland says, many pro-black feminists use the argument that civil rights leaders like King, Malcolm, Evers, and Stokely stop black women from leading in the movement. We know that's not true. But it's like, I know a young girl who, when the whole thing was going down with Black Lives Matter, it's like they'll get on TV and they'll see a black woman in the protest, and they'll say, y'all niggas are weak. How y'all got women on the front line? Okay, well, bitch, get back here where it's safe. Oh, you won't let us lead shit.
That's what I'm talking about.
What the fuck is going on, yo? Like, you want to be down or not? Like, if we don't let you get in this motherfucker, we oppressing your ass. And if we let you, then we some weak niggas who need bitches to fight their battles. Now, look, what it sounds to me like they want, really, is they want to be in a shot caller position without being in the line of fire. That's what it sounds like to me. You want to be a leader, but you don't want to be in the shit, right? This is usual shit. This normal shit that we, hearing from, the females. How long we been in this motherfucker? Leon, if I bring you up here, man, I don't want the college dissertation, man. Okay, we've been doing this motherfucker 3 hours. It's late for some people, man. What time is it now? It's 8:30 over here. It's 11 o'clock on the East Coast.
Yeah, that's on me.
Huh?
That's on me. I wanted to give you guys some receipts, though.
What you dropped is probably going to be the flavor of the damn stream. You know what I'm saying? So people going to take that and run with it. But let me add Leon real quick. But let's not get too far off topic. Don brought us back on topic of the Black Exile. I feel like this. We're not gonna necessarily like how this is gonna come about in terms of, because, like, again, we're coming from pro-blackness, And pro-blackness is that female shit. So you're gonna have the outcast, because a lot of this shit is largely based on the culture that the women are pushing, right? So these outcasts, these, you know, these exiles, they're gonna be anti everything that's about. So them looking at black culture as really some shit that the women made, the same women that ain't feeling them, they're gonna say fuck all of it. And not only that, but these guys who dropped down, somebody dropped down. These guys, you know, these exiles, all they see is the negatives. They don't see not just, you know, the other guys that are like them, the other geeks. I think that was Bishop X dropped down. Okay, I got you. The exiles are not gonna. It's kind of like the black women that overlook your average blue collar. They overlook like a lot of the guys that are invisible to them. The exile is not going to see the average hardworking guy. You know, the other guys like them, so to speak. You know, or the guys that, again, your average black man is. You know, they're gonna see everybody. Everybody that's doing well in black culture that's not them is gonna be a thug nigga, a pookie, on some level or another, right? Anybody who's not them is a street nigga, is a thug. Whether they just dressing the part or they play the whole thing out. That's how they're gonna view everybody in the culture that's not them, right? So they're gonna reject the whole thing and adopt the talking points and the ideologies of people outside of the culture. And then they're going to meet some woman outside of the culture, hopefully for them, unless they just like social misfit across the board, right? And that's another thing that we ain't touched, is the guys who are not just socially misfit in the black culture, but even in outside cultures, they just fucking weirdos. They can't fit in with anybody. So let's not forget that part. But, you know, let's just assume that this guy who can't fit into black society fits into some or black culture, fits into some other people's culture. They somehow accept him, or the women he has more success with than in black culture. Right? Then he's gonna fuck with that. Now, I remember BGS at one point, I have to address this too. He said, you know, well, you know, if you marry into another culture, you're gonna adopt their culture. Well, not necessarily. Men don't marry into culture, women do. Right? For the most part, unless you're getting one of these guys who is feeling so alienated by the culture that he rejects it entirely and adopts the other culture. But we know plenty black men who married women outside the race or outside the culture who, when you look at them, they still perform as black men. We know a lot of these guys. Women marry into culture, not men, for the most part. That's the prevailing idea. But I think it's a slow moving train. What do you guys got to say?
So I'm gonna articulate something that my great grandma wrote down during that period of time, and that my grandma said. They were from Mobile, Alabama, and Gulfport, Mississippi. They were in civil rights marches and all that type of stuff. What she said was the women that align with women in the South, they had children. The girls that started aligning with white feminists were young women going to SNCC and other places and wanting to go to liberal environments, pretty much, to be assimilated. Then there was a class of Negroes that don't get spoken about a lot, but they weren't in segregation. And some of them were part of Black Panthers and other organizations. And what you get is these ladies saying that they want to be out front while their mothers are trying to present their sons as men. So this was organized by Black women, regardless. And their biggest issue is the Black women that didn't align with their concepts, because they were putting their sons on the line and their husbands on the line and their brothers on the line. And they were trying to present their man as human beings. Black women during this period were human beings, just not equally paid human beings. Black women were not stuck in segregation like black men. It's a myth. My grandma used to go where she wanted, work for who she wanted, worked for white people in their homes and everything outside of segregation. And that's how she broke it down. She's like, there's misunderstandings because a class of Negroes in the South that weren't in segregation versus the college educated, well, getting into school girls that align with white people and dating white men and looked at black men as less. And that's how she put it. You know, we have womanists, we have the black feminists, we have the River Collective. Then you start adding these other groups, and there's angry fucking black women.
But I guess we can tie that to Marcus's point by saying that fundamentally, while all that was happening, black men weren't seeing themselves as separate from black people.
Not at all.
I think that's the key that really ties this all together. That died in the 90s, but the body didn't start stinking till COVID. Now, after COVID, everybody's been in the house. Folks have had time to detox from each other. They go back into mainstream general population. And now it's, I really don't have to put up with this. I got this broad in my DMs. And then plus this old cornbread fed snow bunny down here is looking a little, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's none of this, don't bring her home if she can't use my home energy anymore. There's none of this die hard for the culture arguments with the fist up in the air or the stepdad economy. Even the simp economy starting to run dry. They're trying to inject life into it as we speak with any and everything possible. And they're losing the goddamn robots in porn. It's sad. So highlighting the fact that there was a maintenance cost for black men to see it that way. And after we had that Ice Cube moment where when we came together and said, well, ain't y'all black people? And it was like, no, we're separate. That goes back to that Title VII split. But that came from a deeper schism that happened at the very freaking beginning of this country being a country, which I don't count the American Revolution. I count the Civil War as it being modern America, as far as when the United States started acting like a country rather than a business. And I would say that that's probably where we've thrived, where despite what we haven't had, despite being seen as a threat everywhere we go, we've still managed to make it work. And I can't name any other demographic of men that have had to make it work with nothing and still did it, which is why we're so compatible with so many other groups of people if we choose to be. And I think they know that. And for the first time, they're seeing a demographic of black men who are operating immune to the guilt reins that have been used to sort of guide our attention and where we put our focus on and where we invest, followed by a wave of men that are cool with nothing or they're cool with whatever they can get their hands on. And people don't understand that. They interpret that as a lack of ambition. But I want to tie that to Marcus's point. You're going to get greater and greater levels of men that just fundamentally, because of where they're placed mathematically, are just not tied to the so-called black community the way Gen X and millennials were. It's just not there now. The glue's not there. The R&B music ain't there no more. You don't even have the customer service piece anymore. You're getting disrespected. And you don't even have the Doug Funnyism anymore because World Star exposed that. And it's to the point now where you can't even convince people to start using dating apps the way they used to now because they see it's rigged. It's bad.
Yes.
So I'm gonna play something for y'all, right? And we're gonna shut this down soon because it's almost 9 o'clock here, man. And shit gonna start to close, man. I want to run out and grab some shit before shit shut down in Vegas. But I want y'all to see something that's very interesting. All right, let me pull this up. I was listening to the radio this morning. They were talking about this. So check this out. So let me full screen this. So it says major shift in DC nightlife. Men get in free. Women must pay. Too many single ladies in DC. Did y'all hear that shit?
It's true.
Yeah.
Let's play the shit.
Marcus, that's why I don't live in the DMV, bro. I have 5 baby mamas.
So a few months ago, I made a video titled Dating in DC, talking about how there are more women than men at the club, and that gives them this disproportionate advantage where they now kind of act and behave as if they're the prize. And a lot of people either agreed or said that I was male-centered, and I basically was like, okay, I will never talk about this on the internet again. And then I was scrolling on Posh, and I came across this. So apparently this weekend, there was this event called Women Love Beards. Essentially what it is, and I will read you the description from the organizers. Basically, they say in order to maintain gender balance experience, the men get in for free and the women pay $35 for entry. So this is the men's page, and then I'll show you the women's page. There's a whole separate page for women to pay to be in the company of men. Guys, I fear we've lost the plot. I mean, I get it. This is how they're solving for it. But when I said that there's a gender imbalance and it's making men act like they're the prize, this is what we get. Anyways, I refrain from having any comments on this, but all I will say is if I ever went to an event and then they made me the face of some shit like this, I'm suing. Your mama's getting sued. Your daddy's getting sued. Everyone's getting sued. Oh my goodness. And this would be so cringy, like as a woman to be like, hey, I paid my $35 to come see some men.
Guys, women really do hate it when evidence of the fact that men are the prize is shown right in their face, especially for women who will never admit the truth, which is men are the prize. Now, she knows she shouldn't be that shocked to hear this. Women paid to go to male strip clubs and pay men. Women paid to go to Chris Brown concerts and spend $1,100 just to do a meet and greet with him. So some women are willing to pay money to see men with beards.
Finally attended my first Must Love Beards event. Those are my girls I went with, Romy and Steph. I had to mute this because I was rambling. Just know we looked cute, but we were very upset that it was still raining in New York when we got there. The event took place at HK Hall. This was my first time there. It was a pretty big venue, had more than enough space for everybody to get around, so that wasn't an issue. The music was good. They had upstairs, downstairs. It was big, y'all. I asked for a shot and she gave us 2 full glasses of tequila. That's what it felt like. Did that look like a shot to y'all? No, right? That's what I thought. Now, there were plenty of men here, but the amount of beards was very questionable. There were probably a good 3 good beards that I saw. About a good 3. And for those I missed, I'm sorry. Maybe next time I'll see y'all. This is the song that you know they play when the party is basically over. And that's a wrap, folks. We had fun. Until next time.
Okay, guys, hi. I'm here for a little review for the Must Love Beards party hosted and curated by a Black-owned company called I Don't Do Clubs. You can follow them on Instagram. I've been following them for a long time, okay? And I like their content. I like what they be posting and like having all these little different events. When I found out that they was coming to Chicago for this party, it's like they've been traveling to different cities for this party. They finally was coming to Chicago and I was like, ooh, yeah, let me get talk about it. Yes. But anyway, I go, right? Anyways, I go to the party with my friend and it just wasn't what I expected. Unfortunately. So the rating that I'm gonna give it right now is probably like a 4 out of 10. Yeah, it was that bad, unfortunately. I'm not gonna say that the party in general is like that. I do think that it's probably better in other cities, but when it came to Chicago, it was not that. It wasn't given. And my reasons why is because the women to men ratio was crazy, like 8-1. It was so many women in there. So many women. The men didn't even have to pay. This is what pisses me off. The men didn't even have to pay. Yet, the men didn't show up.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say I still don't think like y'all seen this shit where they do be throwing these singles events and niggas don't come, right?
Yeah.
And right. I was like I kind of got what I was expecting in this video, that even with like free entry, niggas would still not show up. These bitches gonna have to buy drinks.
Okay, so you heard me talk about the DMV before. The fact is this: the DMV was where all the slave masters sent their black daughters during a period of time. So the DMV has always had more black women than black males. Then it has all the government jobs, which they hire black women, Howard University, everything else. When I lived in the DMV, all the women I dated were older than me. They paid for my classes, fed a nigga. They take care of guys. And the DMV is a place that women don't like talking about it, but it proactively happens that they share men. My dad has like 8 different girlfriends. I never paid for a hotel. I never paid for food. I never paid for shit. Like it just is what it is. They're part of the school boards. They're part of every government job, every city job, and it is an 8-to-1 ratio because women out of state come to the DMV for jobs because that's the state where black women get paid the most money. There's always a gender imbalance.
Let me ask you a question because I came up in the DMV too. Around when were you in the DMV?
I was born in the DMV.
Okay,
my parents are military, so I grew up in Alexandria, Fairfax. Cool. I was born in Norfolk. My dad has 4 houses in Baltimore. He lives in Hanover, Maryland. My aunts live there.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so when I say H2O, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Not off the top of my head.
Okay,
I've been in Texas for a long time.
So Southeast DC was where the club scene was at. So, you know, PGC was always announcing parties and whatnot. And you would hear all over the radio all the time that women would get in free and you would have drinks at a greatly reduced price up to a certain hour. And that's how it had been, probably up until COVID. So the whole club scene was like that until suddenly it wasn't. And what I'm saying is this particular pattern is not even just here. It's all over the world. I just saw an interview in China. I just saw a video in China where they had situations where, they did an event with like 5,000 women. And I think it was 20 dudes that showed up and left.
The Chinese guys, I know right now. Yeah, Chinese guys, they have video after video and BGS show one. We've seen a lot of them, but ladies are going out calling guys, and the guys aren't showing up, and they don't have money for their meals. You know what I'm saying? Because these guys are saying like the juice isn't worth the squeeze. They're not showing up.
We was a whole economy when you think about it. And I see what y'all said, the DMV, but I'm in Atlanta, born and raised.
Same thing.
Y'all are 10 years behind us. The club scenes were dying here in the mid 2000s. Because you got to remember, the white boys kind of kicked out of it first when we had PUA hate. They said, okay, we did all this, learning how to back, learning how to talk to women, and it still wasn't working. So the white boys said, man, fuck this. Black guys said, okay, we're going to go out here and do our thing. And I've never really gotten the club thing, but speaking in general. Black guys like, okay, I don't think about this. You got to pay to park. You got to pay to get in. You got to buy drinks for these girls. And then the ante down here, because these bitches broke, you got to buy them the wings, the cheese sticks, sliders, or what have you. And
can I explain that to you when you're done?
You still ain't getting
no
Hey, we ain't trying to digress, man.
Yeah,
we trying to cut it off, man.
You don't cut it off, so I mean, I'm laying
my bad.
That's the whole thing. We'll do a part 2. That's the whole thing. When guys realize I still ain't got no number, and going back to this video, you know, none of them chicks said, oh, yeah, I met 3 guys. Oh, I met a guy. I'm going to call him. Guess what? The problem's still the same. Y'all are not connecting to the men. The men have said, okay, if I'm going out and we still ain't getting no digits, we still ain't doing nothing, why am I going out? I just stay home and call the damn day.
I think when you're talking about that period of time, you have to remember Big Meech, BMF, running around the city, giving women $100,000 here at this strip club, serving all the food and paying all the tickets really takes a lot of guys out of, the situation. Because that city was,
followed by Me Too.
Yeah.
Yes, and followed by the economy crash and the clubs shutting down or the cost of living going up right after.
Well, I'm saying it was all the new laws that were coming out surrounded by Me Too and chicks reporting dudes that they didn't like in these scenes. And a lot of dudes, all it took is a couple of those examples and folks just said F it. So they pretty much shot that down.
Oh, especially with all those date rape drugs that everybody claim that folks are putting in the drinks. Let's not forget that part.
Yeah, go ahead, Marcus.
I'm gonna get to these super chats, man. No more super chats. Okay, I like your money, but just hold on, slow the fuck down. All right. Props to Nameless for calling out the other day. Calling out the other day a dude who was anti-passport, bro. He called Cap. I'm gonna have you speak shortly on that. Romello says, just keep in mind the the 90s black men have been moving to Brazil, Panama, and Colombia. Yeah, everybody's out. Everybody's out of here, man. You know, like look, I don't understand what women like as far as like them like doing everything in opposition to what men actually want is supposed to make happen. Like they're so used to motherfuckers buckling because they're used to black men not having options. That's why it's a celebration when like black women date out or marry out. It's a big celebration. Oh my God, she found love outside of these niggas, right? And they can do what they want. But you know, y'all niggas is y'all the failed niggas, man. Y'all keep telling y'all niggas y'all slaves. Y'all never supposed to be happy. You're never supposed to win. None of this shit. You know what I mean? You're here if all else fails.
Yeah, it's they look at it like black males will do this because they're chasing this idea of manhood. So they prescribe to this, and we saw it through Gen X and Boomers, and they assimilated some of millennials with the concepts. But as time went on, like shoot, you can go on my Facebook. All the kids are black, but they mixed kids. They Dominican, Puerto Rican, black, all type of shit. Like God has been doing this. And I'm a military brat, so I just always looked closer to it. Like my wife is from Germany. You know what I'm saying? So what are we even talking about?
So Nameless, I want you to respond to this, and then we are done, people. We done. I'm hungry, nigga. I'm motherfucker.
Yeah, fuck your hunger.
Nigga over there in the kitchen cooking. You ain't got to stand in front of this camera, sit in front of this camera and be on this mic. Motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Random. Where your Jay-Z shit at, man? Where the Jay-Z avatar, man? You know what I'm saying? What happened to that?
No, so this avatar was something that I sent to Nameless, right?
Explain the
and
avatar.
no, let me explain it.
No, nigga.
I know, let me explain it. We got a minute.
No,
we got a
on
minute.
the next one. Nameless. Right. I'm cutting you off. Nameless.
Right. I DM you. This nigga hungry.
Damn,
this nigga hungry.
You know, because back in the days when we was running through the army and, you know, we was moving from city to city and shit like that when we was on the plane, what had happened was my dad, he was a military man because I'm a military brat. Hey, Nameless, man. Yo, respond to this shit, bro.
All right. So, I mean,
sorry, man.
So I'm not going to throw gasoline on the fire. It was a misunderstanding, and I ended up later on that day going to their panel and clarifying things. I'll just say that they were not aware of certain things, and it may have come off initially when they were on the panel that you probably heard, Gregory. They weren't trying to get at passport bros. They just had a specific set of understandings that they were operating under, and they didn't realize there was already doctrines tied to some of these points that we were making. And when I went up there and asked the question, it was to clarify, to make sure he wasn't going after passport bros, and he wasn't. So I just want to make that clear. So we got clarity. We went on this channel again and got clarity there. Everything's all good. Everything's kosher. So it's no big deal.
So look, we about to be out of here. Check this out. It's possible that I might do the political stream tomorrow. It's all up to Ty City. Ty City say he might be available. I don't want to do the stream without him. That's just what it is. I don't want to do the stream without him. I know everybody else is available, but Ty is moving around and he's going to give balance to the damn shit, right? So, you know, last time we had a heavily, you know, right-leaning stream, and I try to balance the shit out, right? So what I want to do is get Ty up in there. Ty's not necessarily a Democrat, but he's toward the, you know, he's more so toward the middle, right? So he said he's dropping coins. If I stream tomorrow, he's gonna make me come in this motherfucker. You gonna make me show up? All right, look, Romello, tomorrow there might be we might be doing is politics as usual. It's gonna be hood conservative. your favorite. It's gonna be it's gonna be Hood Servative. It's gonna be Tie City. I'm trying to get Mr. Fantastic, General Tito, and Nameless. If you're available, come through. It's 6 spots, so I only got room for 6 people. So I'm a try to get it a nice, fair, and balanced situation. I'm gonna holler at Tice. You know what I mean? So
Can I make a request?
So Romello, you're not with the political shit? You're not with the political shit? What's up? What's your request?
Can you have Hood Servative on the last 30 minutes, not at the start of the show, so we can actually get somewhere in the conversation? Because I'm gonna be listening. Like, let the entertainment happen the last 30 minutes or 45
check this
minutes.
out. Check this out. I have to bring him on. And again, like Hood Servative is kind of, it's funny to say this, right? But he's kind of the heart and soul of the political streams. And the reason why I say that is because he kind of started this shit with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna bring him in early. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, but you know how I do in these political streams. I, for the most part, moderate. So it'll be them guys saying this and that and the other. I'll have my opinions here and there, but I kind of want Ty and and these guys to speak. I might bring Dr. Thunder in if he has time to jump in. He might jump in briefly, but I know y'all don't like the dude, but he adds the sazon to this motherfucker. You gotta admit. Romello said Hood is wild. Yes, he's a wild boy. Hood is a wild nigga. You gotta admit he adds some sazon to this motherfucker. I can't restrict him to the last, because I don't know how long the stream gonna go, so I can't say last 30 minutes. Have the whole conversation without Hood. I gotta bring him in.
All I'm saying is let something develop before it just gets into the weeds, and that's all I'm saying.
Now, well, I don't think he was part of the original stream the other day. But all right, so this is what I'll do. I'll try to bring in like people, boom, 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 boom. Instead of bringing everybody in at once, I'll bring everybody in piece by piece. All right, so that's what I'll do. And yeah, man, hopefully this will go down tomorrow if I'm not busy. And yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for jumping in here, man. We need to treat our exiles better. We need to treat our black dudes that are not necessarily, in the center of the culture a lot better, because we need them.
Let me say this point to that to close out, man, because I think that the black community so-called creates its own monsters, and that's all it boils down to.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yep.
Was that the phrase? That was it?
That was it.
Okay, we out of here, man. 100, baby. Appreciate y'all for jumping in here. We out of here, man. Peace out. See you tomorrow, if anything. Peace.